Hi, we're live again. We're about to start game 3 of the evening. We have another Legend tier adventure tonight, which I'm very excited for. But before we get into that, well, we don't do character introductions proper anymore in Legend tier, but I will need all of you, just to start it off on a dramatic note, I need you all to roll me a D2, a 50-50 odds for something very, very, very important.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I'd say it's critical, actually.
This is probably the most important roll you will make today.
No.
It's a great thing that I, rolled a 1 then. Definitely a great thing.
I hope a 2 is good.
It's the highest you could have gotten on that roll. So, as our adventure begins, last time you all adventured, you traveled to Central City, some of the kind of around the outskirts of Central City, wherein you recaptured the gym Kurogains, where it was being kind of controlled by a group of Morts, and particularly Lord Swoldemort, who within was, doing a lot of exercises, training up his kind of contingent of Morts in the space. You raided that area, you kind of kicked all of the Morts out and have now retaken a very small foothold within Central City. You are surrounded on all sides by foes, but through Roger's deception, your Mort-like disguises, and just doing a good job of kind of keeping a low profile, externally at least on the gym. You haven't taken down the Mort's gym sign on it yet, so you don't just stand out as it being Kurogains. You have found yourself a place in the land of DnDTime that, one, it's your old home. It's your old home, Kurogan, which is very nice to just be home, and also
It's so good to be home.
You have a true foothold on the planet now. And as you guys have been kind of staying there, fixing up the interior, getting used, readjusting, you've spent your time, a lot of it, here at Kurogan's, or Kurogains, as it is more aptly called. And in the time at Kurogains, you all have, been taking advantage, because there's not a lot to do there. Taking advantage of some of the kind of interior exercise equipment. So where our scene opens, and if you look into your inventories in just a moment.
I got it, Pete.
Oh, great. Thank you, Jeremy. If you look into your inventories, you have this. But as you all enter into the area, Kurogan, Lance, you're already there. Kurogan, there's not much more muscle that you could put on, but you see, walking down the stairs now, Euchaunkus and Selcress, and both of them have been hitting the weights pretty hard. And Euchaunkus and Selcress, would you like to describe your visibly bulging muscles that you've gained from your Kurogan's your Kurogan's buff that you have received for taking a long rest at Kurogan's? As you have come out on the higher side of this 50% chance. So you guys are looking extremely fit as you walk down into the kitchen of Kurogan's.
Well, I think Euchaunkus, it's mostly arms and not a lot of legs.
The legs are exactly the same, but just the top of your body has become almost like a Donkey Kong Kremlin, where you're just huge on top.
And on top of that, the jaw, he's got a lot of jaw exercises in.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
So now
have you guys been working out?
It's like the bite force of like a crocodile. Just hear the slamming when he eats things.
Oh God! And what about you, Swolcress?
Swolcress. Yep. Well, there are visibly bulging muscles. She looks like a child athlete who has spent all of her childhood training for the Olympics.
Just a lot more kind of seeming, not necessarily like, is it not the huge muscles? It's more like, athletic looking.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. So you both come down looking just extremely fit. And the way the Kurogains buff works is when you guys spend downtime at Kurogains, whenever you unlock a keep, you will gain one of these options with it. You can all sleep in your own respective keeps and get the buffs there. You can get a bunch of different things. But you gain the following kind of boons. Once during the next adventure, when the character would fail a strength, ability check, or saving throw, they can choose to succeed instead. So currently, all of you have one free success on a strength, ability, or ability check or saving throw. Additionally, there's a 50% chance that you gain incredible muscles, and now that you have these muscles, you can make strength checks to intimidate Euchaunkus and Selcress, and you have advantage on those. So that is where we officially begin, is with these two unexpectedly burly individuals, a classic one. And Lance, I don't know, have you not been working out, or did it just not take?
Lance has been a bit busy with a few other things. It's good to finally have Kurogan's home back. I'm still quite troubled about what this music seems to be. I've been doing a bit of research into it, though. Who knows how much progress I've actually made.
Indeed. The music still just kind of floats in the air, just in the distant background. Always just kind of, lurking on the outsides of your periphery.
As for me, I'm just too used to the workouts here. I need something stronger.
Yeah, it takes a lot.
Kurogan, something's wrong with your weight machines.
What do you mean?
All I did was legs.
Well, I guess you took leg day a little too seriously.
But it didn't affect my legs.
Huh. Well, maybe we'll have to take a look at that.
And to flash forward a little bit, the four of you have made the decision that you are going to go after Castle Selcress, the icy keep deep underground in the Underdark. That is Selcress's home. And unfortunately, unlike a lot of the other keeps and places in this world that you're able to catapult to directly from the moon, this one is a lot more challenging in a sense.
Through the crust.
You cannot catapult through the Earth's crust. So setting out from Kurogains, a lot of this kind of downtime has also been you guys just walking across kind of the face of DnDTime. You've trekked across plains, you know the general location, spending so much time just under the dull kind of radiating light of the green sun, the gray featureless landscape around you that's been drained of all color by the fashion warlocks. It's all just been a lot. The land is flat, but the emotional toll it takes is definitely a lot more than just the physical stress of having to walk. But the direction you go in Selcress, you're able to guide them across the lands of DnDTime, as you know how to get to your own keep, of course. You're traveling a little. Indeed, you know of a particular kind of crevasse. A very kind of steep kind of crack in the earth almost that you're able to kind of get into the Underdark through and then navigate kind of north of the Sacred Vale, but south of Sokotoa. So you've been kind of all just trekking and hiking. You've collected supplies from the moon base, and you've been working your way in this direction. And as this is your first time heading to this kind of part of the land of DnDTime, you see Sokotoa for the first time, because this is a very open area. There's a lot of kind of plains in this region, and as you're getting closer, you can see the city of Sokotoa. But looking at it, it feels very much like looking at an M.C. Escher painting, because as you gaze off into the distance, the ground itself seems to curl around and on top of itself like a ribbon, creating almost a spiral in the way that the flat earth is, and all of Sokotoa seems to be hanging upside down from like a top point on that spiral on just the huge plain around you.
Whoa. That looks messed up.
From where you're from kind of where you're going down, you kind of reach that crevasse and begin descending down. I imagine you belay some rope. It's not too hard considering you're taking time. In the distance, occasionally you'll see some agent of one of the evils kind of walking around, but you do a pretty good job of avoiding them. But yeah, kind of that's. It looks like if you would walk any farther and any closer to Sokotoa, you would be essentially. You would just have to start walking up like a vertical wall. Like you don't know how it would work actually walking on the ground. It looks like you would just like fall off and just into space. It's really kind of mind bending and hard to wrap your head around. yeah, that's kind of where that's where we officially begin, is where you kind of descend into that crevice. Selcress, you see the open pathway that you know kind of leads deeper into the Underdark. It's a cave, but you're now moving proper. You have maybe another couple hours of walk to maybe upwards of 3 at most to get to like the big open cavern in which your keep resides.
It's still gonna be a ways from here, guys.
All right.
Can you up?
Of course. I put her on my shoulders. I also spread my wings for 60 feet of movement.
All right.
Move faster.
As you get down into the cave, Kurogan, you find that it's easy. It was easy to kind of like fly and cover a lot of ground when you were just like traversing normally, but like you're walking through some pretty narrow spaces. It's hard to actually fly. Like you can't get like the momentum. Since you're not like floating with the wings, you're kind of actually like flying,
Yeah, well, I suppose I can't fly anymore.
At least not in like the tight cavern that you're kind of walking through at the moment.
Stupid caverns.
Yeah.
Just carry me.
Fine. I'm going to walk like a normal person, I guess.
Just like the golden god for the first time ever just steps to where Kurogan is going.
Bent low by the mightiest of foes, a ceiling.
Stupid ceiling.
Ceilings are rough.
Yeah. Don't hit your head on that thing there.
What? Ow!
Told you. You're really tall for this cave,
And
maybe we can probably slow our pace so you can crawl without having to worry about all of those stalactites.
I'm not going to crawl.
That
First
one's
I have to
gonna
walk,
lie.
and now you want me to crawl? Hell.
yes, too much pride for that. And as you move forward, Silcrest, you take them down even like a slightly narrower tunnel. The Underdark is full of just terrible, like twisting passages that are labyrinthine for those who don't already know how to follow them and are not used to navigating in these kind of spaces. And you end up walking down a tunnel. It's a very rare that you have to actually use this particular entrance into it. Normally, you would just kind of teleport in from above, but unfortunately, that's not the state of DnDTime. And as you kind of go down, the tunnel that you're walking into now is circular. It was originally, you imagine, kind of carved out by perhaps an umber hulk or some other large kind of, one of the many insects that makes their home down here. And as you're walking and kind of reaching the other end of it, Selcress, you know that you're about, you're kind of following along this circular tunnel. 2 things. 1, what are everybody's passive perceptions? And 2, is there anything you want to do before you kind of get into the space where you know that Selcress's keep is?
My passive perception's a 14. I'm immediately donning my plate armor.
My passive perception's a 14, and I suppose I'm good.
My passive perception is a 19, and
Okay.
I'll kind of follow closely behind Selcress with my light kind of guiding those without dark vision.
Very
My
good.
passive is a 19.
Okay, so Lance and Euchaunkus, you've been walking along and kind of following some of the. You can see kind of like some of the patterning on the with the light from Lance's kind of like dully glowing blade, the soft moonlight. You can see the patterning along the circular tunnel that you're walking through. Like I said, it was kind of carved out by a bug-like creature, and along the bottom of it, you can see like kind of indents and extra kind of scraping where the feet of that creature kind of were walking. And as you've been kind of walking through the tunnel, you've been noticing slowly those kind of scrapings have been moving along in the circle, kind of the kind of along the wall to your left, and that as you're kind of getting close to the exit, they are now above you. And as you reach the end, Selcress, you realize that you've reached the end of this kind of tunnel. It was almost imperceptible, save to Lance and Euchaunkus, that sometime as you were walking through this tunnel, it must be because the circular nature of it you didn't notice, you've turned upside down. And as you look out into the cave in which your castle resides, Selcress, you can see it kind of there, kind of affixed in the same way it's always been. Instead of it being kind of this pure ice, you can see it's just kind of like a gently lapping and bubbling water. You can hear it kind of burbling, and kind of moving around in places. And in addition, it's completely upside down. What was used to be the ground in this space, it appears that the castle is now affixed to the ceiling. You can see the pinnacle tower at the top of it, which houses your bedroom, which normally reaches up almost to the very, very top of the cavern. That now is like the closest access point that you can see just along the ground. And yeah, you're walking along the top of the ceiling amidst all of the stalactites and stalagmites and stuff. That is the scene where you see your castle. Gravity is reversed, or it's very hard to understand what's happening because the castle in the water doesn't seem to be falling. What do you all do?
Well, that's neat.
What happened?
I think the laws of physics have suddenly changed.
Calculate.
Indeed. Seems my theory about the avatars of the edge is not correct after all.
Yeah, it kind of looks like how Sokitoa looks right now.
Are you
And
sure we should be doing this? You saw what happened to Roger, right?
It's probably fine. I want my
You're
castle back.
sure? I understand. I totally get it.
Uh-huh.
Let's just be extra careful not to piss off Calculor. Yet.
Uh-huh.
Later, though, definitely.
I mean, if he has aging abilities, we just let him hit Selcress.
What?
That's true!
You have the
I
least
mean-
to lose by aging 100 years.
That is very true.
What?
if anything, something to gain.
Yeah, exactly!
We're stuck on that moon base, and you want Selcress to be going through puberty with all of us stuck in that small little area.
That would honestly be better than me going
Hopefully
through,
she
I
just
don't know,
skips
being 80,000 years old and being dead. Yeah, I prefer that.
Well, when you put it that way.
Yeah, you two are humans. I'm a lizard. I'm gonna live forever. But I don't.
I'm not a human! I'm a dragonborn!
Right.
There's no
You
humans here.
I don't know where that came from. Sorry, Kurogan.
Like, what the hell? Are your eyes broken? Did they working out break something?
I don't know. It's been a weird few weeks. Everyone else feeling a little weird.
Did you eat
Yes.
something you shouldn't have?
Oh, no, I mean, well,
Oh no, did you get into the special fridge?
special fridge.
Oh, nothing.
I went to the book room.
Oh no.
I didn't eat the books. I just went to the book room.
I appreciate that. Most of those were hard to get. Some of those were signed by Chogal.
And no, I didn't eat anything.
Wait, you didn't eat anything?
I mean, I ate a lot, but I didn't eat anything weird.
You didn't eat anything weird?
I mean, not.
Is this
particularly-
really Euchaunkus? I'm
Not particularly
concerned
for
now.
me. I mean, wait. What do you guys consider weird?
Things that weren't made for the specific goal.
Okay,
being
I ate a
consumed by
wing.
your average person.
And as you're kind of like, as you guys are having this conversation, you hear kind of a sound kind of coming from the ceiling, and you can see just high up along the ceiling, walking upside down on the ground, a very small figure has emerged from Selcress, what would be like a more normal kind of access point that you'd come through along the ground. There's kind of like a stone bridge that leads up to it. You see them kind of like walk along over to the main door of the keep far away. They reach around like towards the area where the door of the keep is, and then you see what looks like a large hand just kind of reach out and grab them and pull them in. Kind of some of the water splashes out, and just kind of falls upwards.
They just. Oh.
What was that?
They just entered my keep without my permission, or I'm gonna kick butts.
Wait, is that thing a normal thing to enter the keep?
You know, I'm concerned about how I'm going to fly if it is everything upside down, it might be very disorienting.
Just pretend this is the floor.
Yeah, you see a point where you can kind of walk over. Like I said, the top tower kind of reaches down.
Selcress is storming over to that.
I'm
alright.
also going.
The ground on the other side is cleared, but where you're walking, Selcress, it's definitely difficult terrain as you're pushing your way over stalactites, which are now stalagmites. Which you never, when you were kind of clearing out some of the space in this cavern, you never bothered to take the stalactites off the ceiling. They
Why?
were cool,
They
if
look
any.
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there room enough to fly?
That one has tentacles.
Yeah, you're in a big open cavern now.
Then
you
I'm
can
going
just-
to grab her and fly her over.
Okay.
Stay away from that one.
Oh god, it's eating another one.
Yeah, you see a distant roper.
It's eating a piercer. Didn't stand a chance.
It definitely did not. And
Ooh, a piercer,
Lance,
I eat it.
Lance and Euchaunkus, you guys kind of work your way over,
Yep.
kind of amongst the stalagmites. We will call them stalagmites since they're currently on the ground, and you see the kind of the tipped point of the Selcress's ice castle. The little bit of water that kind of it's making up of it. You can see it just very subtly moving and vibrating, but still holding pretty close to the rigid shape that Selcress Castle has always been. You can just kind of, where you were standing, Selcress and Kurogan, Selcress, you can just kind of like reach up and touch the top of the tower. The window that's normally kind of like the top floor window of your bedroom is, for you, Kurogan, a high jump. You'd have to jump about as high as you could, but you could probably do it. Or, you also can fly, so.
Yeah, why do that when you can fly?
Yeah, it's about like 10
So,
feet up or so.
What happens if I touch the water? Like, just move my hand through it?
It's heavy. You kind of put your hand into it, and you have to like push a little bit to move through it, and it feels almost gel-like.
Yeah.
As you kind of pull your hand out, a little bit of the moisture kind of flecks off, but your hand is like mostly dry, and some of the water just seems to kind of like fall and run off of your hand. It has a very odd physic about it.
This is wrong in so many ways.
Weird. I don't like this. So, let's get up.
Why don't we just drink the castle?
Don't
That's
drink
a
my
terrible
castle.
idea. Even for you.
I mean, if we drink it,
No.
we can move it somewhere else.
Your stomach
No.
does have a limit, and I'll tell you this much, it would be reached a lot sooner than a
I'll
castle.
I'll throw it up.
No.
It's not going to work. Let's not eat the castle and just go in.
right.
All right, I'm gonna
Sure.
I'm try and swim through the castle.
Okay, you're gonna like just kind of like jump up and try and like swim into like the top part.
Yep.
Okay, it's solid water, which is I know a strange statement to make. And you jump up, you crest into it, and you begin kind of like pulling your arms up, and it's easy. I mean, it's thick to go into, but it's very easy to like get a purchase and feel resistance as you're moving your hands. It's also, you're not really like seeing into your bedroom at all, Selcress. It's a very like opaque blue, very much the way the ice always was. It's still kind of opaque despite the liquidity of it. But Euchaunkus, you find two things happen very quickly. One, there's something off about this. You can't breathe. Two, you're also finding that almost like a force of gravity, it's kind of like just pulling you in and holding you in place such that you can't really like move in the wall at all, and almost instantly you find yourself drowning. And Euchaunkus, you guys can see just like, it gets opaque quickly, but you can see the form of Euchaunkus, which is starting to disappear into the blue, just kind of like moving about and like flailing a little bit in the top of the roof.
Oh no! I go in to grab.
All right, go ahead and make me a strength check.
I'm just a straight strength.
Yep. All right, yeah, no problem. You reach out and kind of grab onto Euchaunkus' ankle and rip and pull, and he falls out. You avoid, you catch him, you avoid having him just get impaled on a stalactite.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Don't
Yep.
don't swim.
Yeah, I
Drink the water.
thought that would be a bad idea. I'm glad you tried it and not me, though.
I mean, I'm good at swimming.
Don't.
I can breathe in water.
Yeah. Could you breathe
I don't
in
know.
that?
No.
So it's not water, confirmed.
Yeah, I think it's like a dead ooze or something. I don't know.
Tasted like water.
Tasted like water though.
Did you
That's
feel any
weird.
tingling or something?
Delicious,
if it is in
delicious
fact
water.
news.
Don't drink the castle.
No tingling. It just sort of sucked me in.
Like gel?
I guess. Does gel suck you in?
I mean, not really, but it's hard to move.
I thought gel was what people used to style their hair.
I mean, it's got the same consistency. Whatever.
So Chris is gonna use one of the features on her crown to make the area around them real cold.
All right.
Is-
Go ahead. Can you just like, or you probably don't have any way to put it up. Can you read the ability for me?
Yep. Stygian Eminence. As an action, you invoke the Eminence of Stygia, claiming your surroundings for your frozen domain and condemning them to an icy fate. You lower the temperature in a 120-foot radius, 200-foot tall cylinder centered on you. Temperature in that area drops 5 degrees per second to a minimum of negative 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Frost and ice begin to form on surfaces once the temperature drops below 32 degrees. This effect is permanent unless you use the crown to end it as an action, at which point temperature of the area returns to normal at a rate of 10 degrees per minute once you've used this feature.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah.
Great.
So-
You reach out and do this, and you kind of touch the side of the you touch the space on the castle where you want to begin freezing it, and as you reach out and touch the top of it, you can see the area where your hand leaves. It's frozen solid, and that chunk of it, the water still moves around it, but immediately where you touch it, it's completely just a solid chunk of ice, and then that cold begins to spread and move, but the water of this castle is seeming to resist it. Whatever magic reverted it from ice is also seeming to like try and prevent it from freezing here. And as you kind of put force into it, you see that kind of like extra cold that's fighting harder in a sense now. And you can feel like some of the water and stuff, the little bit of ice that you've made proper is very, very slowly spreading. But you can also feel some of the water around it. It's even more gel-like, taking on almost like a rubber-like quality now, where you can like exert some force on it without necessarily putting your hand through and falling in. So you could probably like actually climb up the top of this thing now with like climb up into it. All right.
Holy Bahamut, that's cold.
Yeah, it is extremely cold. No two ways about that one. You're going to climb up and in. Are you just going with, or are you, Kurogan, you giving her a booster?
I mean, I'm flying still, so...
Oh yeah, so you just set her down on the windshield, on the window, and let her in. All right. Selcress.
But I go in after her.
Yeah. I assume you're not too far behind Euchaunkus and Lance. As soon as you get in, Selcress, you hear the following sound. You hear, yeah! And jumping down from the ceiling towards you, you can see a math goblin, which was like rested crouched on the ceiling, just kind of sticking to it naturally, seems to flip in reverse gravity and stab down towards you with a sword. From the opposite corner of the room past you, Kurogan, you see another one of these goblins kind of draw back a bow and fire an arrow at you. And the sword that's being swung towards you, Selcress, it appears to be just a solid kind of almost cubic rectangle on a stick, and the arrow that's being shot at you, Kurogan, it seems to be tipped with a cube.
Well, the sword is going to be a disadvantage.
So it would have been at advantage but instead, because it was an unseen attacker, use your reaction to impose disadvantage, so it will still hit, I think, at a 20, Selcress.
Yeah, that'll hit.
You take 16 points of slashing damage as the sword hits you and then explodes with surprising force. The bow firing at you, Kurogan. Oh my god, you got very, very lucky.
I got the best damage ever.
Oh, wait. No,
The most
unfortunately,
possible damage.
you got very, very lucky and then very unlucky as this was a square. So that 2 is actually a 4, so that's 5 damage.
Oh, still.
'Cause it didn't know how to register a square crit.
Now I'm angry.
Go ahead and roll for initiative. As there's 2 math goblins in your bedroom, Selcress.
And as I do that, bees fly out at the goblin that attacked me.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
while we're rolling for initiative, Selcress, what does your bedroom look like?
Yeah.
Well, my bedroom is clearly the fanciest, princessiest room in the whole thing. It's a little flowery and fluffy, which is really embarrassing. It's got a canopy bed, you know, the ones with the top and the curtains. And on the bed are a bunch of different, like, fluffy stuffed animals. They're so fluffy that you can't even tell what animal they are. And
Like one of the floof, probably.
yeah. And there's also a vanity and like a mirror on a huge mirror on another wall, and lots of kind of cutesy things that Selcress would prefer no one see.
Excellent. And Selcress, as you come into the space, a space which is yours by right, you kind of take in the familiar surroundings and kind of feeling very comfortable in your environment. You're the first to act in this instance. Selcress, what do you do?
I'm gonna look at the math goblin. They're called math goblins.
Yep. There's one right in front of you with a sword, another one kind of hunkered with a bow that's on the ceiling, kind of upside down.
Yep. I'm gonna.
Jeez. Rude.
I'm gonna stare the sword goblin down and use my infernal decree to have Levi change into a barb devil and have the area beneath me freeze instantly.
All right. The ground beneath your feet. So now the ceiling of the ceiling of the ice castle just completely goes over in frost, as well as some of like the walls in your bedroom as well. As this room becomes pretty restored. With just the power of the infernal decree, as Levi grows these kind of incredible spikes and jumps off of your shoulder. What else do you do?
Levi's gonna attack him.
I suspected. Fire away.
Ha! Yeah, but...
Levi absolutely tears this math goblin apart. It is just kind of a regular goblin, despite the very advanced weaponry. And as you fought math goblins before, I mean, they are just goblins, you're aware of this, but this time, as this math goblin is ripped apart, you see his body kind of begins to, like, break, and then you see he begins to crumble apart into almost dust and particulate, and you can see kind of like among his bodies, like the pieces that he crumbles into turn into this almost light, and you can almost see like numbers and stuff kind of pouring out of his body and then just rush off and kind of like disappear in the space.
Yeah, that's weird.
Almost like he disintegrated and then turned into numbers is the only real way to describe it. I assume that's all for your turn, which brings us to this math goblin who's going to reach down and shoot down and fire another short bow shot, this time at you, Selcress. It's a 6. I assume that misses.
Yeah, it misses.
The arrow kind of falls short and kind of hits into the water and. Well, that's no longer water. This chunk is now completely ice. As we move to, one
How
goblin
far
remains.
away is the goblin with the bow?
Since you are outside and they kind of ambushed, you are on the ground outside of here, so you're going to need to jump upwards or have some way to get up into like the window that Selcress and Kurogan are kind of in front of.
I'll go for a jump.
But you hear the sounds of kind of action from within. All right, go ahead and make me an F. Actually, what's your strength score?
15.
Yeah, you can just barely do it. So you jump up, reach up, and kind of pull. You're now in a very confined and tight space. The window ledge, the kind of like little part on the top of the window that seals it, is pretty tight. But yeah, you're now in this space. You can see the math goblin in the corner, but you're also like basically occupying the same area as Kurogan.
Aha.
Well, I did go in with Selcress.
Okay, yeah.
didn't say
Okay, yeah.
that.
So you're in the room proper. So you're standing on the window ledge in that case, Lance, and you're good.
Okay. Not really being able to move, but seeing goblins clearly striking out against us, I will kind of just make a sort of gesture towards it with my blade as that is a terrible roll, but Sacred Flame him.
Oh yeah, did the goblin that was in front of me take the B damage?
I believe he takes it at the start of your turn, right?
No, it's the start of their turn.
Okay. Well, he succeeds on that dexterity saving throw and then gets torn apart by bees. As the bees fly over and just begin stinging all over the goblin's body, you just kind of hear, as he's kind of like swatting at them. The Sacred Flame ducks out of the way, but the bees pursue as they are relentless. And that particular math goblin also in the same way. You see him just kind of disintegrate, and all of him just kind of converts into numbers and kind of flies away. And your bedroom is now clear, Selcress. It's also a lot more iced. The furniture is on the ceiling, which is definitely odd. It didn't kind of sink through into the water. A lot of strange things going on with the physics here. Euchaunkus, you climb up.
Yeah.
All right. There is a kind of a door leading downwards into, there's like a spiraling staircase that leads down into your keep proper.
Did the goblins drop their equipment?
No, they completely just disintegrated and disappeared in entirety.
So I'm going to just use the fact that there's not really anything around to change around my fighting spirit slots points.
Very good.
And I'm taking one out of my wings and putting 4 into my AC. So that gives it a +2.
And I'll flick my keep.
Okay.
Keep flip. Where's my...
Okay. Yeah, the cape. I thought you said flip your keep, and I was like, that's going to be quite a task. We're working on that. All right, everyone gains 6 temporary hit points. Selcress, you can see the door up above on the ceiling. I mean, normally you just had like a regular icy door with just kind of a regular lock and key. But now they've put some kind of strange pad, since this is like an entry point now. The top floor never really needed that much security going downwards. But there's some kind of like access panel that seems to lead now into the room. That you can all see. That leads into the downward spiraling staircase that heads into the keep proper.
Alright. Sounds good.
What do you guys all do?
Well,
Is it just a bog standard keypad? Is it alphanumeric?
Looking at it, the keypad itself looks what you may not be familiar with but what you as a player are definitely familiar with as a calculator. And it seems to be looking for some kind of 8-digit passcode. You can see that currently there's above that another kind of small display, which reads 2 - 1 equals.
1. I type in 1.
You type 1 into the keypad. Do you hit enter? I assume you'll hit enter.
Yes.
All right, you hit enter. You can see the first kind of open on the kind of section where it shows it. See the first open number appears there, and it just shows up as 1. And the equation above it changes. It just says less than 10 minus 5.
Four.
You put in 4, and it goes back.
Uh,
It resets.
Fuck.
Now it says 4 minus 3 equals.
What?
The next one that it shows there, it says less than 2 times 3.
okay.
5.
Oh, yeah. That one.
It resets. It goes back. This time it says 10 divided by 10
To be
equals.
clear, is the less than pointing at the 6 minus or 2 times 3?
It's saying before it said it's saying that basically it's implying that it wants you to give an answer that is less than the result that I gave you. So you were picking on the correct side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just okay. It's just we're not right
Yeah.
picking the
Yeah,
actual.
I should have worded it differently. I should have said
What if it's just
greater than
1111?
Who puts that as a passcode?
Think about it. No one would ever think of it, and the math goblin's always tricky about it.
Everyone thinks of 1111. Do you know how many places I broke into the trigonome in Sokotoa because I just used that passcode?
Lance, you try it.
I try it.
All right, you hit 1, ding. You do a second 1, ding. You do a third 1, resets.
Well, at least
Okay.
the second
Okay,
one
so
was a
it's not that.
progress.
So 1-1. Get to the.
Alright, we'll type in 1-1 again.
All right, you do a 1. The next, it does. It was like 10 divided by 10 for the math problem. The next one it comes to is less than 4 plus 5. You type in 1, bing. The next one that comes up is greater than 5 minus 7.
I don't know, 3.
It's -2, so we could just say 0.
What do you guys pick?
Can we put in -1?
There is a negative sign.
-1.
Sure.
And as soon as you hit the negative sign, it says you just see a thing kind of come up on the screen. Absolute value mode selected. And it kind of denies your negative, seeming to only take positive numbers.
0.
You put in 0, resets.
Fuck.
You do 1 again.
Yeah.
This time the math problem that you see in front of you, it says less than 3 plus 5.
Okay. 2.
Ding. The next one that kind of
Screw you stupid calculator.
the next one that pops up, you got a 3 out of 8. The next one that pops up, it appears to be less than or equal to square root of 9.
That's
3.
That's 3.
Bing. You have 4 of the digits, 1, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, it's 5.
Okay, it's 5
Next
next.
one's
Yes.
You do 5. Bing.
7. Oh wait, sorry, 8.
As soon as you put in the 8,
8 is
as you didn't do the previous digits.
1, 1, 2, 3, 8. Oh, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8.
5, 8.
Fuck.
1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. All right, you get to there. You got 6 of the.
Okay, 13 would be next.
Yep.
So 1, 3 does this work?
You can just type in 13.
Okay, we'll type in 13.
The door opens.
That was way overcomplicated.
That was
They've learned
Stupid
the
math
Fibonacci
goblin.
sequence.
You mean the Nominachi sequence?
Yeah, the Nominachi sequence.
All right.
Dan Brown.
And as you kind of go and open the door, I mean, normally the stairs are on the ceiling. You can see them above you. And Selcress, you see something that, in the time that you have had this keep, you've never thought, man, I wish this was just how it was. As the flat part of the ceiling now makes a big spirally slide going down.
Oh, that's fun. Let's go.
And like a water slide, you find with the kind of like a little bit of like extra texture Spellcrest's ice spells have given you're able to kind of like slide and bounce. You're always sinking into it just very slowly, but you're moving quick enough that you never end up completely just kind of like falling into and getting sucked into the water like you saw Euchaunkus do before. Although when you kind of collapse, when you kind of reach the bottom of the ceiling of the ceiling at the end of the stairwell, there's like a few more steps up ahead before it goes into kind of the main hall. But as you reach the bottom, you definitely find that one, you're a little bit further away from where you first cast the spell, and you're sinking a little bit easier here. And you're finding that even with the spell where you're kind of a little bit farther back, if you're standing too long in one place, you kind of start to sink into it. You got to make sure you're keeping like your feet.
It's a good thing I'm flying.
Yeah, indeed. And yeah, you reach the bottom. There are a few more simple steps in this staircase, but you know, Selcress, that you're now moving into the keep proper, as it were. And as you walk down those last few stairs into the grand hallway, what do you see?
You hear something actually before you see it. You hear the sound of excessive movement. There are a lot of people in the grand hallway or figures moving around. You hear the clatter of armor, perhaps? Weapons? Unsure. You hear that chittering of goblins yelling to each other. And you hear another sound, something large, moving. It's right
Oh,
up
I don't like
ahead of
that.
you, just down the hallway. What would you like to do?
Can
I don't
peek?
like
I'm
that
gonna
at all,
peek.
guys.
I'm gonna peek.
You sure? Can you roll a stealth check for me, Selcress?
Sure.
You also... Oh, well, we can just roll stealth. Alright,
Not
so
a good
you're
stealth
like...
check.
You're scooting forward, you peek out, and as you look... what are these guys' passive perception? Holy shit, you actually succeeded still. Lol. Alright, so you peek out over the side, and you see an interesting sight. You're looking out and over the ceiling of your main entry foyer, flanked with two massive staircases, which are now on the ceiling relative to you. There's a gargantuan chandelier of crystalline ice. Seems the chandelier has retained its shape, just kind of sticking upward from the ground, seemingly ahead of you. And you see groups of math goblins in a couple different places that disorient you. You see directly ahead of you, there's a patrol of maybe 8 math goblins walking around with a large ogre that they have wrapped up in chains. And the chains, you recognize this ogre. This is an ogre you used to open the big gates into Castle Selcress. It's one of your peons. And he looks very sad. He looks like he's been... they've been kicking the crap out of him. But more worrying than that, maybe, there's one math goblin sitting on his shoulders with like a chain in his mouth that's like pulling on his ears and stuff, trying to control him. And he has a gargantuan, just big old square-shaped club that he's lumbering around. They seem to be kind of drilling right now, almost like maybe you set up some sort of an alarm and they're scrambling. On the ceiling in front of you, you see 2 more patrols of math goblins kind of marching around. There are a total of maybe 24 math goblins in this room, and they all appear to be drilling and just kind of scrambling a little bit. Can you actually just roll me a perception check one last thing?
Sure. That one's a little better.
Yeah. One other thing stands out to you that's a little funky. With the group of math goblins that's directly ahead of you on the ceiling, marching around near the grand chandelier, which, I mean, the chandelier is like 10 feet wide in its own right. It's huge. One of the math goblins is very tall. It's like 5.5, 6 feet tall, but looks just like a math goblin. It's really weirding you out. Like, something is not right about that math goblin, but none of the other math goblins seem to like care at all. They're not like, leader or anything like that. It's just one of the short ones that's leading that squad. So that's what you see currently. Would you like to back off and inform your party?
Yeah, I'm gonna back off and inform them.
Okay.
They've got my peon! He's my ogre! Ogre!
So what you're saying is if we free the ogre, he will.
I mean, I am his mistress.
That is true, and it will reinvigorate his fighting spirit.
Yeah, but there's like a really tall, kind of weird math goblin.
That is weird.
Vibes.
How tall are the ceilings?
Oh, in the
big
grand
room.
foyer, it's huge, right? I mean, that's got to be like a 60-foot seal arch, and it's weird because the ceiling is like very arched. It's not flat. So there's lots of cover on that ceiling level, or well, floor to you guys.
Yeah.
I relay this information.
Let's see. So maybe if we get rid of the math goblin on the ogre's shoulders, then it will be more helpful.
Yeah, probably.
What do
So-
you think, this tall one? Are there any math hobgoblins?
Looks just like a math goblin. There
Hmm.
was like a taller one that I fought a really long time ago. That was like a geomancer.
Yeah, he does not look like that. He just looks like a normal old math goblin, but like just stretched taller.
Okay.
Euchaunkus spent some time amongst the Trigognomes
Sure.
a long time ago. Can I make a check to see if I recognize what kind of math goblin that might be?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's awesome, actually. What kind of check you think is most appropriate? History, or maybe charisma or some kind of charisma check because you were talking and with people at the time?
Sure.
Or
Charisma's
maybe
good.
an investigation if you were trying to learn about math
Yeah.
goblins?
You know, persuasion feels
Yeah.
pretty good to me.
Yeah, sounds fine.
Okay.
All right, so it's a 10. From what you learned, the Trigognomes are very big on their "we hate math goblins, they're bad" kind of thing. You've never heard anything about a tall math goblin. I mean, maybe like in sacrosanct text, right? The Calculord is depicted as like a tall or large math goblin. It's like your guess, but you don't know. You don't care about that stuff for the most part. But yeah, it doesn't like ring any bells. It's not like, oh, that's the divisor. I don't know, the super divisor. Oh, that'd be a good name. But no, you don't recognize anything like that.
Super
Yeah,
divisor,
that's a tall one.
A long divisor.
Oh,
he's a
that's
long
so
boy.
good. Holy shit.
Guys, you are geniuses. What is its new nickname, Long Divisor? But anyway, we should probably go over the plan of how to, get rid of them all.
Indeed.
Okay. Describe the room in vivid detail, Selcress.
Alright, so there's a bunch of cover, well, not cover, but stuff on, arches on the ceiling that we could sort of do. And there's a chandelier sticking out of the middle of the room. It looks really weird, but it's still icy.
And it just goes on to describe all of this stuff.
Yeah, is there anything else in your main entry foyer, Selcress, that you want to describe?
It's a huge hall. There's
Are there like statues on the bottom floor? I assume the staircases kind of arch up, right? So you could walk under them, maybe?
Yeah. There
So
would
maybe
probably
the-
be more staircases off to the sides with little balconies and such.
All right, yeah. So there are balconies. You guys could like obscure yourself from vision from the two squads on the top, perhaps. And I'm sure the way they're patrolling, there's more than one opportunity to avoid them as they go under the grand staircase.
Okay. We can hide. We'll drop the chandelier. And, we kill them.
Selcress, they're gonna destroy your chandelier.
I'm not gonna. Hang on, I have an idea.
We'll buy you a new, better
Out of the
chandelier.
ground.
It's made out of ice. You can just make a new one.
What if I cast darkness over where my ogre peon is, and
And
shoot?
we drop a chandelier on them.
No!
Well, the ogre peon is on the same that squad of math goblins. That's the tall one, the ogre peon, and 7 more math goblins are on the same flat level you are. They're walking on the ceiling, which is the floor for you all.
Okay, you're confusing me, but I'm sort of getting the geometry down.
Yep. I'm gonna refer to the ceiling as the floor, and the floor as the ceiling from now on. Okay.
Okay.
So you guys are on. Okay, I'm always about to go back on it already. Yeah. So on your level where the chandelier is, there's that squad of math goblins with the ogre and the tall one, and then above you on the actual floor is the 2 other squads. There we go.
Alright, I can make a distraction with, like, a castle of ice, or I can make, like, a sphere of darkness around my peons and shoot the math goblin on his head off.
Okay.
I could shatter them very hard. Like really, really hard.
Don't hurt my peon!
Not the peon, everyone else.
I can also shatter them very hard.
Oh, no.
Very,
Well,
very
shatter the
hard.
long one. Shatter the long one. The long boy.
Okay. Okay. When do we drop the chandelier on the groups in the bottom?
After my ogre peon is free.
So
What if
wait,
we can-
should I
what
take
if we
care of the
can-
guy?
What if
Should
we
I
can
take-
lure them on? Oh,
Why do we do this all the time?
okay. You first.
Well, should
What
we
if-
get rid of You did
You
that
go
on purpose.
first. I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway, I think we should get rid of the guy on the ogre's shoulder as quickly as possible if that club looked as big as it looked.
Yeah, that guy and the tall guy seem like the biggest threats, but
Yes.
we also don't want them raining hell on us down from above below. So, what
As
if
above, so
we-
below.
what if we find a way to lure the groups down on the ceiling floor to be all under the chandelier, and then we drop the chandelier? I mean, that thing's gonna go off like a bomb. It's ice. It's gonna turn into shrapnel.
We need to consider perhaps a plan that does involve dropping the ship. Not to spare it, but do we even know what way it's going to be affected by gravity? There are literally people walking on the walls and ceilings and floors in here.
Well, if it's not
falls-
affected by gravity, it'll probably just sort of pathetically collapse. If it is affected by gravity normally, it will fall on the groups under it and blow up and kill all of those goblins.
I don't think you know how ice works. Or weird water, for that matter, because it is weird water right
Who
now.
knows how anything works?
As y'all have been kind of talking and standing still, you've sunk up maybe to your shins.
Well, I haven't, because I'm flying.
Oh, except for Kurogan.
Okay, march in place for this.
Yeah, we
So
gotta
you guys
we got to
start
march in
racing?
place while we're doing this.
What?
March in place.
Selcress, you also noticed that maybe it be the magic of your castle or just dumb luck, but it seems Levi has not transformed back into his imp form yet.
I see. That is good.
Wait, Selcress, do you have any crazy defenses like Kurogan did?
I mean, I had traps. Lots of traps. So many traps.
Selcress, as you look up, it's like, oh shit, there's one of them right up there on the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's the chandelier, obviously. Okay. So there's traps
And I had
they've
peons.
managed to avoid. Peons that they've captured.
Yeah, not for long.
Oh, guys, I learned a really cool thing that I haven't got to try yet.
What?
Well, it's a fiery death ball of doom called a scorching ray.
Alright, well, why don't you fly in and go crazy, and then we'll take advantage of the chaos, huh?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
You need them bundled up for that. I could control water and see if I can't get some kind of thick.
Oh, I'm just going
viscous
for
whirlpool.
the I'm just going for the
Okay.
big guy with the small guy with the big club.
Here's the plan.
That's my ogre.
Small guy with the big club.
The small
ogre
guy
is
that's
not
riding
small.
the ogre.
Yeah, small guy right ogre.
The long guy or the... Oh, whatever. Go.
The small guy, not the tall guy. Okay. So Kurogan will slaughter the small guy. Someone should take care of the tall guy.
We should have 2 taking care of each.
What do math goblins like? They like math. Does anyone have a math book?
Ugh,
Give anyone to have
I'll take
miscellaneous
care of
affairs.
the long boy. Who's coming with me?
I believe I can go with you then, if no one else is speaking up.
Don't kill my peon, Euchaunkus.
I'm fine. I'm gonna drop that
Promise?
chandelier though.
Ugh.
Sure, I promise.
Also,
won't
I should do
kill
this
your
now.
peon.
I'm going to quickly transfer the 4 that I put into my AC into the Dragon's Fire. Yeah, it's called. So that my spells are better.
Okay. So you have the Dragon's Fire that buffs up your spell attacks.
Yes, it's
So what's-
advantage on
what's
Constitution.
Plan, I guess, what I'm really looking for here, right?
Kurogan's
What's your move?
Kurogan's gonna bust in and surprise everyone, and immediately go after the goblin that's on the ogre's shoulders with a 4th level
Scorching ray.
scorching ray.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Now, what are the rest of you doing? Sorry.
Meanwhile, Selcress is going to cast Synaptic Static on the long boy group.
Oh, okay. That will hit your peon pretty much for certain, unless you want to like hit half the group.
Synaptic
I thought they
static
were
you
two
choose.
Different patrols.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna hit everyone, including the long boy?
Yeah,
Okay. But not the ogre.
not the ogre.
Okay. Okay. So you're trying to free your peon. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry,
can
just trying to make sure I
teleport you.
understand. Go ahead.
I can teleport you in to get a better
Oh, no.
lineup on your ability.
Synaptic static you don't choose. I was thinking of Psychic Scream.
I
Oh
mean,
my god.
Oh,
Whew.
I mean, it's
Soon.
20-foot radius, so
It's pretty big, yeah.
are they
That's the thing.
close?
They're drilling. They're like marching around. So there are 8 goblins, one of which is the tall one. You could probably hit 2 in the tall one, or like 4 of the other ones, and then of course there's the one on your ogre end.
What's an ogre's intelligence?
He was not
Bad.
that smart, last you recall. Ogres are kind of legendarily dumb.
Yeah, but 2 are lower.
You're not sure he's that dumb. Or she. I don't know. Is your ogre? Is it a lady ogre or a dude ogre?
Oh, let's go with the lady ogre.
All right, yeah, she's not that dumb. You know that much.
Okay. Then I'll try to get as many as I can, but not the ogre.
Okay, so you're gonna nail 4 of the regular one. Cool.
Yep.
So that's what you're ready for. We got an assassination on the one on the ogre. Euchaunkus?
I'm gonna shatter on the crux of the chandelier.
Okay, you're gonna shatter the chandelier.
I'm gonna make the chandelier
no.
fall.
Okay, and Lance? Or yeah, Lance?
Assuming this all goes to the infernal play, I think I should start getting a few spells out on all of us and a little something extra for her. But after that, I suppose I'll be teleporting in with Selcress to check out the long boy.
Yeah, and you notice once again as you've kind of like started actually like solidifying these plans, you kind of stopped for a minute and oh, you're thinking again. Whoops. Coot around a little bit.
You know what? I'm tired of sinking. I pull out my portable hole and put it on a nearby wall and step inside, so we aren't sinking.
So you step into the portable hole. Okay. Well, you've already made your plan, so now what?
Now we're gonna execute it.
Now we're gonna
Alright.
leave the portable hole.
All roll me stealth.
Stealth? Okay.
Stealth.
Before we get going too far, I will get going here with putting some holy weapon on Kurogan's and channeling divinity to get a 2nd level. Is it 2nd level? Whatever level I need to bless us all.
All right.
That'd be
The
sick.
Kurogan has been holy weapon, and
What does that
you've
do?
got the bless anyway.
You
It's
deal
very
a-
powerful.
you do this. You deal a bonus 2d8 plus 1 radiant damage on hit with all of your
OG.
attack.
How are you
Additionally-
teleporting us, by the way?
I have Dimension Door.
Okay, take Levi. Not me.
Additionally, Kurogan, if I yell at you to, let's say asparagus, if I yell asparagus, close your eyes.
Okay.
All right. So you sneak up. Can I get those stealth checks?
Is the, sludge gooey enough to dampen our armor claim?
You know how
No,
the,
it's not.
Wait, I don't think that works for what I'm thinking.
I don't have the plus 3 because I'm already
Stealth isn't the
concentrated on
same.
stuff.
I can't roll it.
So,
Reroll
you
it.
know, you actually still succeed, despite Kurogan being very loud. The rest of you are quiet enough. Math goblins are not great, especially when they're distracted.
Hey, Kurogan gets a D4.
All
So
right, I
Kurogan,
should re-roll that just in
go ahead and
case,
give
you
that
know.
D4.
6.
Great work.
Fantastic
are
work,
peeking around.
thanks.
Selcress, actually, you all kind of peek around aside. You're ready to roll. You think for a second the tall one notices you, or notices like Kurogan and like the group of you. He like looks in your direction, but then just seems to go back to marching. Maybe they didn't notice you. You're not sure, but they look in
You
your
know,
direction. Did you just
perhaps-
go with the plan?
Perhaps maybe the long one isn't so bad. I feel like. Okay, we're going.
Go.
Okay, so let's start out.
Oh, I think I might know what the long one is.
Kurogan.
All right, Selcress, let's go with you first. Give me that synaptic static as you blast the group,
Uh-huh.
and then we're gonna
okay.
roll for initiative once we execute all these actions.
Alright. Synaptic static.
Okay, and that's going to hit 4 of the math goblins. I will roll for them right now. It is a intelligence saving throw. Oh man! All right, 4 math goblins blow up. Their heads explode. They collapse. Their bodies begin to kind of dematerialize into numbers. All right, you just annihilate 4 of them right off the bat in probably the most gruesome of ways. Who's next?
Me.
Oh, Kurogan, go ahead.
I gotta annihilate the guy with a 4th level Scorching Ray.
All right. You blast. Go ahead.
So it's 3 plus 2 more, right? Are these an advantage, by the way, because it's sneak attack technically?
The first one is an advantage because you are unseen after
Okay.
that.
So and
So you
This
can
is-
just roll
so
1
there.
with advantage at the end. Or yeah, or that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
and
Go ahead.
then 2 more from regular.
Okay. He's dead now.
Cool.
The 4th one just kind of hits him anyway.
A
or-
3rd one actually.
Okay.
But
Well,
seeing
you
as how
kill him with the 3rd hit.
okay, seeing that, I'm just gonna 2 more towards the closest other
Okay.
goblin.
Tall one or one of the other ones?
One of the other ones.
Okay.
I'm not paying too much attention to the tall one. That one misses definitely,
Ooh,
but
missed,
that one
yeah.
doesn't.
And that math goblin is actually dead. Exactly. Yep. So there's
Math
now
goblin.
2 math goblins left in that group. There is the tall one, there is a regular one, and there's the ogre.
Can I move action to go up and go over and pick up that big club?
You are pretty far off. How far can you fly?
I can fly 30 feet right now.
Okay, so you can fly. I mean, you're probably about 30 or 40 feet away. The problem is, you already used like your action and everything, and it's a big weapon. So
That's
probably not.
true. I mean, I have a 20 strength, so maybe.
maybe. So you want to fly over there or no?
I'm gonna fly over there.
All right, you fly over there. The ogre looks at you and kind of is confused.
I thumbs up and I'm gonna. I guess if I can pick up the weapon, if not, then I'll.
No, you're out of action this turn.
Okay, then I'll wait until next turn to pick up the big weapon.
Euchaunkus? Oh god. All right, so you shatter on the chandelier, and you're aiming specifically toward the base of it.
Yep.
Your shatter hits the base of the chandelier. The chain links which connect the main chandelier proper to the ceiling shatter. and then the chandelier falls onto the ceiling where you guys are.
Stupid chandelier.
And it's just a big pile of crystals and glass and ice just kind of in a pile on the ceiling with you all. Unfortunately, as soon as you broke it off from the castle, it just was under the same gravitational sway that you all seem to be.
I get the feeling that would happen.
Well, I loved it, though.
Worth a shot.
You know, Euchaunkus, can you just roll me a D100? We'll just roll a D100. I want to see something.
Okay. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, unfortunately there was not a math goblin, like, near enough to get crushed by it on this side. All right.
Wait,
so
I have
ready?
bet ready, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, this would be your surprise round, so go ahead. You still have bonus action move and stuff.
I look at the, what is there, one other regular goblin near the ogre?
Yes, there's one regular goblin and the tall one.
Stupid goblin.
Oh, no! I mean, oh, no for him.
The
But,
punchy cloud!
your punchy cloud clocks it, and it collapses dead upon the ground and begins to disintegrate. Okay. Anything else you want to do?
No.
All right, and that is now we're on to Lance, and your last one. What do you want to do?
I dimension door myself and Levi to stand right beside the long.
Okay, you're right beside the long boy. It looks
I assume Levi is gonna give some good old boops on this boy.
Possibly.
Yeah, what's
He
Levi doing?
that blessed
Is
boy.
Levi using that ready action?
Yep. Sure. I'm worried that it's Doppel, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah, you're going to hit the dubious math goblin with all three of those.
All right.
Okay, for a total, and how much is that total? 13, it's 19?
I think so.
Alright, he is not killed outright, and he seems, decently injured from that. And there's just a, Levi, it's me!
That's what I thought.
And we're moving to the next. Alright, now we're actually in initiative. Can you guys roll for me? Alright, I don't need to call him Dubious Math Goblin anymore.
Yay, we know it's Doppel!
Hi, Doppel. I had a feeling, but I didn't want to go back.
It wasn't worth.
I almost kill him every time I see him.
Alright, so we got the Math Goblins.
Why are we not killing this math goblin?
It's Doppel.
Who the hell is Doppel?
It's my doppelganger manservant.
Jeremy, is the
Yeah,
ogre
what?
free?
Yes, the ogre appears free.
Yay!
adopted him.
Restrained by chains.
When did
It'll
this
break
happen?
those soon, it's fine.
Long time ago.
Alright, we got Selcress, and then Kurogan, and then Lance. Alright. So, top of the initiative, Euchaunkus, it's your move. There are a ton of math goblins down on the floor.
And we're what, 60 feet away?
Yeah, on the ceiling.
Except me, who's like 30 feet away.
No, they're still 60 feet away from you.
Okay, they're just forever
They're
away.
on the floor, and you're on the ceiling. I love this.
Well, I can't get at them very well. The ceilings aren't tall enough for my lightning cloud. So we will ice storm them.
Oh shit, okay.
How appropriate.
How very
Blast
appropriate.
an ice storm up to the ceiling.
Stylish for sure.
Alright, so that's, and you're gonna try and hit one of the remaining squads?
Yep.
Okay. So you can see there are 2 squads up there, and what's the area of the ice storm? What's the radius?
Why does not show that? It is a 20-foot radius.
Alright,
40-foot high cylinder centered on a point within range.
So you can probably, with that, the squads aren't super tight, but you can probably get an easy 6 out of 8 for one of them. Like, you nail one of the squads pretty hard. I will roll their dexterity saving throws. Oh, no,
I'm not
no.
sure it matters with that much damage.
It does with these guys, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so one of them succeeds and survives. However, 5 of them get just crushed by icy boulders raining up at them. They use their squad tactics to protect each other from this area of effect.
And only one of them survived at the back.
Yeah, only one lives. So, I mean, no, there were 2 that were outside of the area, but yeah, you.
Well,
pummeled
of the
ground
6.
up there. Wait, I'm
And
sorry. Did you say 40-foot radius?
20-foot radius, so
Okay,
40-foot
okay. That's what I
diameter.
thought. Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I was hearing that right. All right, cool.
And then I'll,
annihilate 5.
I'll move
Okay.
away. I'll move behind an arch so they can't just shoot arrows at me or something.
Yeah, it's hard to get like total cover from them, but you can easily get half cover.
Aren't I just at the door?
Oh, unless you walk back into the hallway, I guess you can do that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll start sending my spiritual weapon like toward them,
toward them,
and then
up to the floor.
yeah, and then just walk away.
All right, the math.
I'll be back
goblins-
in like a minute.
All right, one of the math goblins yells, "Ah! Negative binomial formation!" And they begin to scatter, but not that scatter throughout the room. And so there are now 10 of them that are down there, and they take out their short bows and fire up toward you.
Which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, fire down toward you is really what it looks like. Because they're firing down, they don't suffer the penalties for their long range. So this is coming against you right now, Kurogan. Who else is out in the open?
Levi, Lance.
Levi, Lance, and Kurogan. So it's going between the 3 of you. There are 10 attacks. I think Kurogan, you are the main target. So 4 coming at Kurogan. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Did any of those hit you?
You know, that 21 would hit, but I shield.
Alrighty.
So,
So deflects off barely. And then 3 coming at you, Lance.
Oh
We
boy.
have 4, a 21, and a 5. Whoa.
All miss.
All right, and then 3 going right at Levi. A 14, a 5, and a 13. Wow, bad rolls on their part.
Yeah, misses on all counts.
All right. All of them go and scatter. And then they're going to just kind of scatter to parts of the room and take cover with things. So they're pretty well separated around the room with their negative binomial distribution. But there is a small group, maybe 3 of them, that are kind of close to each other. And again, there are 10 left. We move to Doppel. Doppel is going to go pretending to be a math goblin, and will just fire up into the air, pretending that he's doing something, and he won't hit anything. Selcress, it's your move.
Okay.
Wait, there are no more goblins on Doppel's, like, at Doppel's level, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, I didn't think so either.
I think they're all
Otherwise,
dead.
He would
They're
have
all dead.
attacked them, but there are none left. So Doppel's kind of like, just pretends to shoot at Kurogan and intentionally misses.
Yeah. Levi shoots Doppel a semi-apologetic look. Selcress's telepathic message got to him, a second too late. Like, wait, that's probably...
Oh, shit!
Yeah. Like, whoops.
Okay.
And he's gonna hurl flame at some of the goblins scattered on the ceiling, first
Okay.
floor. You know
They've
what I mean?
got a lot of cover behind all the stuff they got down there. I mean, they've got all sorts of, like, training equipment and things. They're, like, ready to fight. But you can go ahead and shoot at them. They just have a higher armor class than usual
Alrighty.
for a goblin.
Hello.
All right, the 23 will connect, and that'll take out one of them.
All right.
Levi has bless for that 17.
That's true. He does.
Okay.
We do.
Go ahead and roll that d4. That matters quite a bit.
Here goes.
Yeah, you'll exactly hit the second one too.
Awesome.
All right. There are now 8 math goblins remaining.
Alrighty, and now it's Selcress's turn. You said there was like a bunch of 3.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
What?
Sorry, there was a growling dog.
Oh, you're talking to the doggo. I was like, do I mind? What did I do wrong?
No, not you. Not you.
Everything.
Someone else can handle that. I mean, they're grouped together. Someone with more spell slots than me, perhaps. I'm gonna try Eldritch Blasting some of the ones behind cover, while also taking cover.
All right, you duck behind the ruins of your chandelier and pew, pew, pew,
Yep.
blast out.
Pew.
And are you also blessed?
I am. Probably.
Then that will be guaranteed 2 hits. Go ahead and roll
Alright.
your damage.
Alrighty.
See if you can reduce these math goblins a little bit. All right, there are 6 math goblins left as you blast 2 more of them, and again as they fall, they kind of disintegrate into numbers.
Layla, get him! Beat him up!
Just
He
talking.
looks at you, she's like, ugh. They're on the ceiling, floor.
Throw some parts of the chandelier at them!
It's real far. All right.
We
Is there anything else you'd
believe
like
in
to do?
you!
Is there anything else you'd like to do, Selcress?
Bonus action. I'm good. I'm happy. I am in cover, hiding.
Okay.
Kurogan turn?
Yeah, Kurogan, sorry, it's your
I'm
move.
picking up the big club.
Okay. It is wrapped in chains, and you see it's starting to disintegrate already. But it's
man.
still currently in one piece.
Good, wonderful. I am going to immediately go after one of the goblins.
Okay.
I guess I'll fly towards one of the closest goblins.
Okay. Yeah, you fly up to the top. There's a bunch of goblins up there.
Okay. I'm gonna hit one of them.
Okay. Go ahead. And swing.
I'm gonna use my normal attack thing.
That's actually not correct for this weapon.
Oh.
For this weapon, all you're doing is rolling your raw strength. You get no proficiency bonus added to this. No one is considered proficient with this weapon. All right, that will hit a goblin, and I will roll strength saving throw for the math goblin because that's important with this weapon. It fails. All right, can you roll me 2 square d8s?
I think this is how you do that.
You want to put a 2 at the end, but
Oh.
otherwise, yes, that's correct. And actually, no, you'd roll 1d8 squared and then the second 1d8 squared.
Okay.
2 squared d8, not 2d8 squared.
Yeah, that's
That's okay. That is correct. Roll 20 just doesn't like it very much. Yeah, you slam that goblin, and as you hit it, and gets launched back 15 feet and just flats into the water, and then begins to slowly sink into the wall. So now
Great.
it's 5.
perfect.
Uh-huh.
Is there anyone close enough for me to hit?
Do you have any more movement?
It depends on how far you had me move up.
Yeah, it'd be 60 feet to the surface. So yeah, if you only have 60 feet of flight,
I only have 30 feet with only 1 point in it, so I wouldn't have even been able to reach the guy.
shit. That's fair. Well, whatever. You got that one attack off. We'll let that fly. Fine. We've already put dice on the table. All right. In that case, yeah, I don't think there's anyone else really close enough to go after. The goblins split up pretty seriously. All right. Any bonus actions you want to take?
Nah.
All right, Lance.
Levi, this math goblin is clearly not worth our time to the ceiling floor. And hoping that I know how this works, I'm just gonna run over to the closest wall and just try to not miss a beat while I try to just directly run up it. Hoping the whole gravity thing is just that fucked up at the
Alright, yeah, you run up to the wall and can you roll me an athletics check? Alright, you get like 4 feet and then fall back down, but you fall on your ass.
I stand from prone very
Okay.
unmajestically. I'll just look up at one of the given math goblins on the ceiling.
Uh-huh.
And you know, I can't support anyone because we're kicking butt. So I'll just shoot him. First level guiding bolt.
Alright. Go ahead and take your shot. That'll do damage. Don't you have to roll the hit?
Why did it not roll the hit? Okay.
Guiding bolt.
That's interesting. And here I was about to complain that I didn't add my bless to it.
That's a new one.
It still didn't add my bliss to it.
Nor did it roll.
It also didn't roll the hit.
Oh.
I have
wow,
never seen that
okay,
mistake.
Cool.
That's weird.
This is the new one. Roll 20. Good work.
Oh, it deleted the wisdom attack roll. That's why.
Huh.
Let's see if this works now. Ah.
Hey, unfortunately you missed.
It's just one of those days.
So I land, guiding bolt zoom, goes wide. All right. And I think is that the end of your turn, Lance? Or are you ducking behind cover, I assume?
I will duck behind as much cover as I can with my piddly fail to run up a wall and standing up from prone movements.
Just crawl behind a crate. Euchaunkus, it's your move. Lance had a bad day a second ago.
Okay. What's the most I could hit with the 20-foot radius thing?
Like I said, probably around 3 of them.
Yeah, the 3 that are grouped together.
Yeah, the 3 that are grouped up.
Okay.
I mean, there are only 5 left.
Well, then I'll do that.
Sure. Go ahead.
I hate all of you.
Oh no! Oh, the cloud kill. Here it comes. All right. Well, this is actually not even a dex save, so they're just gonna die. They can do it against dex saves. They can't do it against that. No save will survive for them. The cloud pours over them. They're like, and they choke and die. All right. There are 2.
And I placed it so that when it moves, it's gonna be heading toward one of them.
Excellent. And that one's like, not happy. All right, it's the math goblins. The 2 math goblins that are left. I think this is gonna be way more terrifying. One will actually, they'll both just take out long swords. They'll throw their shields down and they will rush toward Kurogan, swinging for the fences with their square long swords. 19 and a 20. Wow.
Once again, I mean, you know what? I'm not even gonna shield against that. I'm just gonna let it hit me.
Yeah, that was the versatile square longsword too. That could have been 100 damage. But yeah, it hits you. You're like, ah! And then you're just barely bleeding, like, ah. Kind of like shakes the longsword, like, oh no.
Well, that's really bad for you.
As you're holding the disintegrating club.
The other guy's not. The other guy didn't even touch me.
Oh yeah, he didn't have a chance. The other math goblin. I'm sorry, not the other math goblin. Doppel can't really do anything from where he is here. So Doppel's just going to get to cover near Selcress and transform back into his amorphous doppelganger form. And say something along the lines of like, Selcress, how do your peons refer to you? Is it mistress? Is it what is it?
Probably mistress.
Or is it like Lady Selcress?
It can be Lady Selcress or it can be Mistress.
So he'll probably.
My
Lady
queen!
Selcress. My queen! The goblins have infested the place, the manor.
Yeah, I can
Meanwhile,
see that.
Your ogre goes, ah! And she throws, oh my god, she kills a goblin. She just throws some stuff up, crushing one of the remaining math goblins. Your turn, Selkris. There's one left.
Yeah, and he's pissing his pants in front of me right now.
Incredible throw.
It was. It was a chandelier.
Yeah, Levi's gonna hurl flame at it.
All right, Levi, finish it off.
Yeah.
And with that, the math goblin regiments appear to be defeated. You look around and Levi is just like, my queen, you've returned. This is great. This is very good. They're everywhere. They've infested the entire place. Everything is upside down. You
I
already know all this.
noticed. I don't like it.
They've
Is the
been-
club gone, by the way?
It is disintegrating very quickly.
No!
Kurogan, you pet the club, my baby. And
My
then it
baby!
disappears.
No! He didn't feel so good!
Burn and disintegrate to ashes with you.
My queen, they've raided the snack closet.
No! Not
But-
this. Oh, they're gonna pay for that.
But more importantly,
What?
the way they're controlling the castle.
Mhm.
They have Dad in the basement.
No. Have they been
Only the
taking
blood
him
of
out
House
for
Ashal
walks?
may control this castle. They've taken Dad.
You have said a lot of things that are weird. Very fast.
I don't know, I like Gadapple as I'm still
Him out
crying.
for a walk?
Hey, Kurogan, how's it going? They know they don't let him have any walks.
No, that's wrong.
It's terrible.
Hold on. What?
Extremely cruel.
How can they not walk? He's the dad! I mean, come on!
Are we talking about your father?
Yeah.
What the hell happens in this place?
Clearly you haven't been keeping up on House Shaw.
That's true.
When,
Yeah,
when
come on.
Euchaunkus thinks you're a madman. Uh-oh.
So wait. That's the source of this, or is there?
That's how they're controlling your keep, I think.
Oh. How do we
So we
snap
have
him out
to
of it?
kill your dad?
They've locked him in the basement, I believe. Their leader is down there. They brought in some horrible, otherworldly math thing as well. I don't even know what it was.
We'll kill them.
All
A
right.
lot of creatures.
You say leader. What do you mean by leader?
Yeah.
I
What kind
don't
of mad
know. I've
goblin?
just been blending in.
Mm, They haven't referred to him by anything.
I mean, there have been many things that have come through. There's a geomancer down there, but that's not the creature.
Right. Okay.
I don't know what the creature.
All right. We gotta go free Dad and then take him for walkies.
But what about the treats closet?
That can come later.
Very well, my queen.
Do you need food? Are you
Don't
hungry?
you
Is
have,
that what
like-
this is about?
Hey,
No.
Lance.
Then what
Yes.
the hell is in the treats closet?
All of Selgress' special treats.
I'm
All
gonna
of the
break.
snacks.
I'm gonna start breaking off the chains that are on the lady ogre, so
Oh,
she
yeah,
can move freely.
She's very happy about that. Thanks.
No
Oh.
problem.
Oh, they just made me haul all their stuff.
Ugh, rude. I'm gonna fist bump. You bump your fist with this one.
Okay.
Uh,
Does it?
Lance.
I'm really not feeling
Yeah.
very well. I'm very injured.
You should lay down.
Lance, can you help Doppel and Layla? Here, call
But
her
maybe not. Don't lay down here, because if we get the gravity right, you will fall to your death.
That's true. Maybe don't do that.
Onto that.
Ugh.
Find a room with a low ceiling.
Okay, I'll go to the servants' court, the peons' quarters.
Yeah, that's the one.
And Doppel looks toward you. My queen, I can help. I can fight with you.
Are you sure? You look a little beat up.
I believe in him. Let's. Come over here. We need your help.
What my
we-
queen decrees is how I act.
He
Selcress, what should I do?
poorly imitated a math goblin.
It worked, didn't it?
Yeah, it worked, didn't
They
it?
didn't
That's
kill
only because
you.
they're really stupid.
It's been years.
I
You
tried to
don't-
teach one. Wait, yeah, how long has it been? Hold up. How long has it been?
I don't know. Things are very strange here. It just feels like it's been years.
Okay,
Everything is warped and changed here.
Okay. Well, I guess if you want to help, I can't stop you, but don't die.
if we
No
chop
dying
him
allowed.
open, will he have rings that can tell us how many years it's been? Like a tree?
I don't think that's how doppelgangers work.
No, that's.
I need to turn into a dryad first.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Would
Come on.
that work?
I don't know.
Well, let's not do that anyway. Let's.
no.
Could you
Only
maybe
one way
heal?
to find
He
out.
looks at Selcress like, you're not gonna have him do this, right?
no, don't worry about it.
All right, my queen, I will follow you then.
All right, Lance, could you kind of boop him up to fighting shit?
Do you want both him and the ogre?
She's gonna take a nap in the servants' quarters.
Okay.
She is not doing well. And Doppel looks toward you and says, I'm very experienced with pain. I've taken precisely 19 points worth of damage.
Ah, yes. I'm sorry about that. Seems every time I run into you, I almost kill you.
Kinda
Yeah, let's go
looks at
that
you
second.
suspiciously.
I was there when Selcress recruited you. Do you not remember me? That other lizard that's not this lizard?
No, he's looking at you and he's just like, yes, it's the almost killing me part.
Oh, sorry. But,
wow.
look, now I'm unkilling you.
Pretty good. Yep, so Doppel is back at full. Doppel has no weapons, but Doppel's good at punching people.
I'm gonna give Doppel my Reaver to hang on to.
I mean, is he proficient
he
in
does not
Reaver?
know how to use this.
Oh well. Did you know
Yeah,
how
he's
to
good
use
at
simple
punching.
weapons? I've got a longsword.
Doppel punches people.
Yeah, he
Aw.
punches people.
He's really good at punching.
How long does the holy
All
weapon
right.
last, by the way?
10 minutes.
So
All
it's
right,
still good
to
for
the
now.
basement, which means we have to go up, I guess.
A
Up
long
more,
rest.
yes.
Yeah, you make your way up to that top level. It takes some climbing, a little bit of flying from Kurogan. And
You know what? Everyone get in the portable hole. Kurogan, carry us up.
Yeah. Come
I've
on,
got you.
Doppel,
Let's
it'll be fun.
go.
And
Do, 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 do.
everyone's favorite portable hole bullshit. You make your way up. You open up the door, which now leads up to the basement. And before you, down the hallway, you see.
You see a long corridor. Selcress, you recognize this. There's a bit of a hall, and then some more stairs leading downwards into the basement itself, which contains, a lot of your snacks are down there. Some of the ones that keep longer. Not a lot of alcohol, but like you can tell that someday this will probably be a wine cellar if you develop a taste for it. Before you go down there, Lance and Euchaunkus, with your passive perceptions, you notice something kind of behind and to the side of you. Because you're moving up from the Great Hall, you're at what was the ceiling to you of the Great Hall. You see just kind of over your shoulder, and just looking, there's what looks like a small tear in the space around you, in the shape of a perfect triangle. And behind that triangle, you just see an eye kind of staring through it and looking at you. And as soon as you kind of observe it and see it sitting there, the triangle just kind of like folds in on itself and disappears.
Well, that was bad.
Yes.
What was bad? What are you talking
What are you
about?
talking about?
What I happen to know about an all-seeing eye, that's a triangle or something to that effect.
What, you mean the Illuminati?
I think we might be spied upon by the
Yeah,
Illuminati.
I guess that is very Illuminati, but no, it does not appear to be. You don't know anything about the Illuminati, but maybe that's what it is.
I think that was a math goblin looking through a triangle hole.
That's
I was so-
weird.
Probably the geomancer.
Yeah, it was
Are they
triangle.
that large?
What?
It wasn't very big. You just kind of barely noticed it. It wasn't like a huge.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like a huge thing. It was big enough for like a goblin eye to look through.
I see.
Alright,
Okay.
alright. Yep. Well, Selcress is gonna press on quietly.
All right. You kind of continue forward, and you're approaching the heavy wooden doors that lead into the basement. Like I said, what do you keep? What would you say that you keep in the basement, Selcress?
Probably a lot of the frozen snack.
A lot of the frozen snacks. Do you have any like dungeon kind of
Oh yeah, I have
material
a
down here?
dungeon.
Yeah,
There's a
you have
torture room off to the side. It's very
Yeah. You guys walk past a lot of the prison cells. You walk past the torture, the torture rooms. You can see they've mostly been left alone, surprisingly, by the math goblins. And you reach kind of the heavy oaken doors that lead into kind of the bottommost chamber
Oh yeah,
of
there's
your
also
basement.
like the poison cellars. We ferment poison, so they're more potent.
You keep them right next to the frozen snacks.
Yep.
Which are beyond this door. But as you kind of get closer to it, you see another one of those triangle kind of rifts open right in front of the four of you. And this time, instead of the eye looking through it, you can see the mouth of a goblin, and it's just kind of speaking. Hi.
Although,
What can I do for you? What brings you here?
I'm here to take back what's mine.
Oh, this used to be yours.
Is mine.
I am afraid not. You see, all in the area around the heretics, the trigonomes domain, even what is underneath it, is now the property of His Majesty the Calculord.
That's unfortunate for you.
Merely a humble servant of his. I saw the way that the four of you very handily dealt with some of my minions. They were recruits. I assure you that the resistance that you would meet behind this door would be far greater. I recently received a gift from my lord. I'm enjoying playing with it at the moment. I suppose I could test it out on you, but I'd rather take my time and learn a bit more about it myself first. I will give you this opportunity to turn around.
Anyone else want to say anything before
I
Selcress?
try and bite the hole.
Go ahead and roll damage.
That's actually like 2 higher. And
Okay.
no, that's more than 2 higher.
He's doing math.
2 higher with some more thunder damage.
All right. 12 damage. You kind of reach in and you just kind of like catch him on the top of his lip, and you get a little bit of skin that kind of rips off as you pull out, and you just hear him kind of go, "Ah!" Fine. And the little triangle shuts, and all that's before you now is the door.
Good job, Euchaunkus.
And she just gives you like a little high five.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna eat him.
Yeah, was he good?
I don't know. Was he any good?
Was he any good? Do you like Math Goblin? Tastes like Math Goblin.
Tastes mathy.
Yes. Very algebraic.
Fair enough. Open the door.
Yep.
All right. As soon as you kind of step into the chamber, you can see a whole bunch of things at once. You can see along the kind of walls and the ceiling kind of in rows, you can see a whole bunch more math goblins that are kind of like sticking to the ceiling. They're a lot more kind of like spread out than the last group that you fought were. You can see, your various frozen snacks and kind of your poisons have been moved out of this space to kind of clear it out and make it a little bit more open. Up above, you can see that like the basement, what would be the floor of the basement, now the ceiling of the chamber that you're in. The basement's pretty flat, so it's actually a pretty easy kind of space to walk in for all of you. The floor has been hollowed out, and up above it, you can see that it opens up into a much larger cavern, and you can see there's just more Underdark above, like they dug down, like into your basement, essentially, from something that was beneath it in kind of reality.
Oh, you're hurting my brain.
Yeah, there's a lot of difficult concepts there in terms of orientation, and yeah, they have kind of like opened up, and you can see some very old, like you see like this really old and ancient looking bridge. You can see like just like the ruins of like an old upside down city that are kind of like above and opened up in the above below, and you can also see the individual that is presumably the geomancer, because they're wearing kind of long flowing robes covered with equations and various mathematical symbols, and still kind of goblin in stature, but floating just like a touch off the ground. And as you're walking to the room, they're just in the middle of putting up some kind of spell, and you see in front of them suddenly appears just like this orange shimmering barrier, which you can see the symbol. Greater than 5 on it. And on the side of your room, you can see kind of bound in what looks like some kind of magical chains. They're not like chains, it just seems like bands of energy. You can see your father in some kind of strange binds, and your father is kind of in the corner of the room, and you can see kind of from the side of his head, there's what looks to be just like drips, and you're not sure what's coming out of it. It just seems to be like an energy that's like emanating from out of him, and it spreads out to different points of this basement and into the walls in a lot of different spots. The one other thing in this room is a gigantic cage. It is empty. That is the scene that you see before you as you all enter. I know there's a lot of stuff to take in at once.
Yeah. So, is my dad behind the barrier, or no?
Your dad is not behind the barrier. The barrier seems to encircle the geomancer. Your dad's over to the right in like the back corner of the room. There are 8 regular math goblins in here, it looks like.
Okay, 8 regular math goblins. My dad's in the corner. Geomancer surrounded by a less than 5 or greater than 5 barrier?
Yep, greater than 5 barrier. And the geomancer speaks to you all as you enter. And he kind of points upwards at the ruins. Our ancestors who invented the square weaponry. They were very intelligent. They had the right idea. We've been learning a lot from them, and I think our Lord, he's had some interesting insights. There are just so much more you could do. Whole other dimensions. And you see him kind of like painting a square in the air, and then you see him like pull back, and his hand now seems to be forming what looks like a cube of energy. Would you like to roll for initiative?
Yep. Would like to roll for initiative.
So, Selcress, for those who aren't aware, your dad isn't a drow, right?
No, not exactly, no.
I mean, if drow had long white hair, big hulking bodies, 4 arms, and were demons, maybe that'd be...
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe.
be a drow.
Maybe be a drow, but no, that's dad.
Wait, that's dad?
Yeah.
What are you?
What do you mean?
Wait, Dad's a demon?
Dad is in fact a demon. He's
That's
a Dragolor.
bad for Kurogan.
No, that's my daddy.
What's a demon?
But he's my dad.
But he's a demon!
But he's my dad!
Deadman!
And also, as you're kind of going into the initiative, the geomancer kind of looks over to one of the math goblins and just kind of yells, "Release him." And Lance, you are the first one to act in this instance.
Probably a dumb idea, but to start this off, I'm gonna try to dispel that greater than 5 barrier.
All right. You kind of call upon your dispel magic and throw it out at the greater than 5 barrier, and it seems that the greater than 5 barrier. Actually, that's a very interesting interaction. I need to figure out exactly how this works.
Oh no. If that's what I think it is, this is a lot of trouble.
Let me just take a look at this. Go ahead and make me a wisdom check for starters while I'm looking this up. Spellcasting ability check. All right. Okay. Yeah. So you kind of throw out your dispel magic on the barrier. It does not seem to. It's not able to neutralize the barrier. Anything else on your turn?
I can multicast if the bonus is level 1, right? Or is that not a thing?
That's a thing.
Okay. I Sanctuary.
All right. You put up a sanctuary.
And I will scoot in towards the engagement and a bit off to the left or whichever direction Dad is.
All right. You see, you hear from somewhere in the space. You hear the strangest sound. It sounds like. It sounds something like a growl, but it sounds distant and echoey and almost like kind of articulated, like it's been put through like bad auto-tune, where it's just kind of like, it makes this long kind of strange like rolling sound.
Oh no.
That's all. That's going to bring us next to, I believe, Doppel.
All right, Doppel is going to move into the room, kind of camouflaging himself a little bit against the wall. He's going to just kind of stealth and begin to scoot into the room towards some of the math goblins. That's all he's doing.
All right. That's next in initiative is the Geomancer. Actually, no. It is Euchaunkus. What do you want to do, Euchaunkus?
I'm also going to Sanctuary.
Very good.
And then Divine Intervention.
Oh, what are you asking for?
8.
Generic help.
Just generic help?
Nope.
Unfortunately not.
Sick.
It would have been.
Oh well.
All right. Anything? Oh, I guess that's all. I guess that's all we're trying. All right. The Geomancer is going to Sanctuary.
Sorry, I'll move a little bit to get into a more advantageous, not clumped position.
Is Sanctuary spell or is spell like or harmful effect? Is it specifically for spells or like just any harmful effect can't target?
Any attack, harmful effect, or when you force a creature to make a saving throw.
Yeah,
or
when
wisdom.
you target the creature with an attack or harmful spell.
Okay, yeah, I'll count this as a harmful spell. It's technically not a spell. In that case, it's going to look over at. They're going to look at you, Kurogan, and you should make me a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. That's not good, but I'm actually gonna succeed that. I just decided I succeed that because I have Indomitable.
You get to re-roll, I believe, with Indomitable. It's not a guarantee.
Oh yeah, it's reroll. Never mind.
Yeah, so you can give it another shot though.
Let's try it again.
That's a good idea.
23.
Great
Much
idea.
better.
This ability recharges. You feel for a moment your life force. You feel your body like strange and it's tingling, like something has happened as he's focusing on you, and then that effect fizzles, whatever it was, and you're okay. That's going to that's going to bring us next in initiative to, I believe, the math goblins are next. There are 8 of them in the room. They are going to fire attacks down. They don't really particularly want to fire at you, Euchaunkus, so they're going to send 4 of them are going to fire. Actually, 6 of them are going to fire at you, Kurogan, and then 2 of them are going to fire at Selcress.
Okay.
And let me get these guys again. These are the 6 against you, Kurogan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Those all fail because they're ranged attacks, and I have a +2 thanks to my shorts.
Oh, nice. And then the 2 are going to also fire against Selcress. It's an 18 Selcress.
That'll hit.
For 9 points of piercing damage as it hits into it, reverberates with an incredible force. And you see one math goblin kind of takes a couple steps over to that big empty cage and goes over to the top of it and just kind of lowers a clasp and it falls open.
Good. It's empty, right? Totally.
Yeah, why? That's gonna bring us next in initiative to
Kurogan.
Me! Is there a group of
no, they
math
kind of
goblins?
apparently from the observed tactics in the last room of your explosions, they kind of took like a wide variety of positions on the ceiling, so they were kind of like spread out, so you couldn't AOE them.
In that case, I'll just Scorching Ray at 4th level.
That also works. Are you just gonna go after 4 discrete math goblins?
Well, it's 3 plus the 2 because it's 2 levels higher. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay. Yeah.
5. 5 math goblins.
You're just going after a whole bunch of math goblins. Go ahead and fire away.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You kill 3 of them. The 2 that take 5 are actually still up. But you do kill 3 math goblins with your Scorching Ray as they fly out from the ceiling. What does it look like when you do your 5 Scorching Ray blasts?
Pete, a couple of those miss.
Oh, wait, I just assumed that they would all hit. That's a great point. Shame on me. Yeah, that's actually only going to be the 12 and the 8 both miss, which actually means you only end up getting the one that you crit.
What about the 15 that's first?
The 15 hits, it's just not enough to kill a math goblin.
Ah,
It's a tiny bit more damage.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and action search.
Excellent.
And then I'm gonna do it again.
You'd have to do like a regular attack, because you can't double up on spells with action surge. Because you can't cast 2 spells in the same turn.
Oh.
Fairly usual, unfortunately.
It technically gives you an extra action, but I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's just like related to spell casting, not to the
That's
action
true.
economy of it.
I'm gonna go up to one of the goblins, and I'm actually gonna use my Reaper for this.
Ooh.
No, they're not clumped up, so that would be pointless.
If you want to do like, if you were asking before for Dragon Breath, you could probably get 2. At any given point, you can probably get 2 math goblins with an AoE.
Okay, then I'll go with Reaper. Actually, no, I'm gonna stay with the Dragon Greatsword because of the fact that I have the Holy Weapon on it.
Okay.
So,
away. 22
1.
is absolutely going to annihilate a math goblin.
Okay. And then if there's another one within 10 feet, because
yeah, you can move. Well, you just move. You still have movement left. But the 12 unfortunately does not hit. Yeah, oh man, some rough rolls on that round. But you fire out an array of fiery blasts, which scatter across the room, and then you take your dragon greatsword and deftly.
For his spells, when he's in fire mode, it's like he raises a repulsor, but it's like a shotgun of homing blasts.
Excellent.
Sometimes they miss.
Rad as hell. And you take down 2 math goblins. There are 6 still upon the ceiling. That's going to bring us next to initiative 2. I have forgotten at this point if anyone knows if you were next.
Dad.
What's Dad doing?
Dad growls angrily and utters in a weird mixture of abyssal, elvish, and undercommon.
I
The
can
Elvis is
read Abyssal. Or I know
so
Abyssal.
You hear the abyssal, Kurogan, as your head turns. But yeah, the elvish is like, I'm not gonna voice your father, Selcress, but it's like, daughter, you've come.
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
And then the abyssal is curses in demonic curses, and then the undercommon is more demonic curses, but in another language that everyone else can kind of understand.
Okay.
He's a demon.
Yeah, you know.
He's having a hard time. He hasn't been walked lately.
Yeah, he's a little
He's
bit
so upset.
cranky.
All right, that's all he
Get him,
does.
Dad!
He's stuck, right? He's trapped.
Yeah, his hands are currently bound,
Yeah,
and he's kind of like
get out of there on his own.
he needs a little assistance, or I mean, try and make a strength check.
No, I mean he's been trying that for months.
Yeah.
And now
that-
Selcress.
Yeah,
Yep.
my turn.
Selcress, what do you wish to do?
I'm gonna take cover.
All right, you do so. You kind of like duck behind one of the now empty stacked bear boxes of frozen snacks.
Yes, and I'm gonna hold a hand up to where the empty cage is,
All right.
and I'm gonna fairy fire it.
I would like you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Sure, I can. Saving throw. Are you gonna go? Click the thing
Ooh.
now.
Oh,
Maybe
roll
one of those-
20.
Might be one of those times where in a couple seconds it's
There
just
it
going
goes.
to explode. All right, 19. Yeah, absolutely. So you are going to fairy fire the creature. All right. Or the cage, the empty cage.
Yeah, I don't know where the creature is, so I'm just putting it inside of the cage.
Oop, oop. Oop, gotta make that public. All right, so you cast a fairy fire on the inside of the cage, and as you do so, you're left with something that's very kind of strange to look at. You see like wavering in the air, because the light is still kind of like emanating from the form. It doesn't like reveal the creature in the way that you'd expect, and kind of like show their invisibility, but there's now just kind of light coming from a space, and you can see flickering in it some kind of large beast-like thing. You see like a head kind of turning inside of this very huge cage. And you hear that same kind of like terrible growling noise.
Oh, good. But then Levi's gonna go over to help Dad out of his binds.
At least we
Alright.
can see it though.
Yeah, at least you can see it now.
Very good. Levi goes over to help Dad out of the binds. Can Levi go ahead and make me a strength check with advantage because your dad's trying to help?
Okay. Advantage 21.
21. All right, yeah. Levi goes over and kind of begins tearing at the binds. They are like pretty much mostly unbounded. It looks like, his hands are completely free now, so he's able to like maneuver a lot more. You'll have to get the ones kind of around his legs as well, because they didn't want him just like getting up and running around. But one more success, and also, your dad's much more in a place to help himself now as well.
Okay, cool.
Dad
Cool.
never approved of Levi, but now
Well, maybe now he will.
I also don't think
Devil,
Levi approves of
he's a
Dad.
Demon.
Yeah. All right.
This is not the time for petty demon devil things.
Gobble gobble demon coming
Is
from
that-
Kurogan's area.
Is that the top of initiative?
I
That's
think
top of
so.
the initiative.
Selcress, you hear that terrible kind of growling sound, and whatever it is that you have now seen is going to bound towards you. You hear as its footsteps hit the ground, you hear like a zoom, 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 with each kind of sound, almost this staticky noise, and it's going to do this to you. I need you one to make me a strength saving throw.
Okay, I'm behind cover, but sure.
Oh, I know, you're behind boxes.
There's
This
strength
thing-
saving throw.
this
This
thing
will
don't
go
really
well.
care much
oh my
about
god, it
boxes.
went well.
Um,
That's abnormal.
18 is the exact number that you needed.
Oh goodness.
All right, in that case, it doesn't do its other thing to you as it goes to crash into you, but it is going to just swing at you.
That
16?
will hit.
All right. I need you to make me a concentration check.
Hang on. I want to check. still have my reaction.
Yep,
So,
you have not used it yet.
Yep, you can reroute some of that damage to Levi.
not exactly what I'm gonna do.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Protege of Levistus.
All right. Selcress, up around you, this crystallizing, you see the floor kind of stretch up and put you into a small pillar that is now built into the icy kind of watery ground. It's frozen around the base.
Does that mean
as-
the monster is also frozen?
Nah.
No,
it's
no.
just me.
As it's going to, you're going to just eat that 38 force of damage into that. How much health is it that you just gained?
Let's hang on. Let me get
Temporary
the
hit points?
crown. This is a long one.
I don't think this is in the frozen crown. I think this is in your feature because it's just because it's based on the Tomb of Levistus feature.
Right. Okay. So that'll be. This.
100 hit points that you've just temporary hit points that you've just gained. Very good. The damage you take 38 points of force damage to that 100. And I do still need you to make me a concentration check, as temporary hit points don't.
It's con, right?
Yep, con save. That is not quite gonna do it, unfortunately, because the damage was so high. So the fairy fire disappears. This creature flickers a couple times in the space and is once again invisible. And that's all for the Imaginary's turn. As we move now to whoever was 19, which was Euchaunkus, maybe.
Wait.
Lance.
Does
Lance.
work for save?
Oh, Lance.
Does what work for saves?
Blessed.
It does.
Am I still blessed? How long is that?
I don't think you're.
I don't think you're blessed anymore. Yeah.
Oh,
Lance
We're
hasn't
still
re-upped
with
that yet.
the holy weapon. We're just out of bless.
All right, so let's.
You talk about incredibly unfortunate timing, considering my first turn I forgot to I move more central with some of my movement, and seeing Selcress's dad, I just kind of sigh to myself, going around blessing devils, blessing demons, but beats math goblins, as I cast a 4th level bless to bless Lance, Kurogan, Euchaunkus, Selcress,
Oh my god!
Levi, and Dad.
Everyone's got the bless.
Except for Duffel.
Except for poor old Doppel.
I'm not using a 5th level spell slot for Doppel, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
And to be fair, I forgot which math goblin he is, because important things.
He's not a math goblin anymore. He's
he's
just
still not
Doppel.
important enough for me to notice in this situation.
Anything else on your turn, Lance?
I scoot a little bit more uncentralized. I get Selcress's column of ice between me and wherever I last saw the giant, terrifying, invisible thing.
Fair enough. You know that's definitely somewhere very near to there. That's going to bring us next to
Doppel.
Doppel.
Doppel will continue to sneak over, approach Dad, and be like, "Don't worry, Dad, I'll rescue you. The Queen is in danger." And he's going to try and untie the binds.
Let the binds on.
His legs are still bound.
Yeah, advantage.
I assume, what kind of check is this?
Strength or sleight of hand if Doppel has it.
Yeah, there we go. Wow.
Oh yeah, they're gone. Your dad is out and ready to do whatever Dad wants to do.
Daddy!
And that's all for Doppel.
That'll do it.
Euchaunkus.
What is the furthest goblin away from me? How far is it?
The furthest goblin away from you is about, not honestly crazy far, maybe like 40 feet across the other side of the basement on like the back corner ceiling.
Okay. And where is the monster?
Right, very close, over to your right, you think.
And
It
the
disappeared.
geomancer as well.
The Geomancer's on the back side of the room, on the opposite side, closer, like the opposite side of the room from the monster, on the back side of the room.
Near the 40-foot goblin or the other way?
Near the 40-foot goblin.
Alright, I moved 10 feet. toward
Okay.
them.
All right.
Are any goblins more than 30 feet from me?
No.
Great. I look at them, I'm like, I applaud your learning of tactics. Unfortunately, you didn't account for an AoE based on me. And I destructive wave. Every
You
enemy in the room.
Oh, it's just enemies? Oh, so brutal. You kill every math goblin. What level spell is that?
5th.
Okay.
So I expect it won't work on that other guy. And also, it will hit the monster. So I will max out the thunder damage.
Oh, I actually know. Before you do that, I am gonna need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
If it's a sanctuary effect, it doesn't work on AoEs.
You have bless.
Yep.
No, it's a little bit different than that. Euchaunkus, you don't really want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you would rather do something else.
All right.
Yeah.
How tall is the room?
The room is only about 30 feet tall. The basement's not super crazy huge. Still pretty tall ceilings for a basement, but you don't cast the spell or anything. You don't like waste the spell. It's just you just don't want to.
All right, I cast Death Ward on myself.
Fair enough. You
Still move about 20 feet toward the, or 10 feet toward the Geomancer.
okay. This thing's gonna make a wisdom saving throw, which it fails against your sanctuary, and try to opportunity attack you, and also doesn't want to attack you. That's a weird exchange. All right.
The Geomancer now.
The Geomancer himself is going to look down at you, Euchaunkus, and is going to make a wisdom saving throw against your sanctuary, and fails, and so therefore instead decides that he's going to throw this over at Kurogan, as he kind of pulls back that kind of cube-like energy that he was building up in his hands before, and is going to toss a 5th level cubomatic orb at you, Kurogan.
You know that would hit, but I'm gonna let it hit.
I'm gonna let it hit.
Fair enough. You take 8 points of force damage from the cubomatic orb.
Ow.
And that's all for his turn. That could have done, for the record, 216 damage. That's going to bring us next initiative to the math goblins proper. And there
But they're dead.
No, they didn't end up dying.
Oh, that's right. They didn't end up dying.
Didn't want to do the thing. And they don't know that you were going to do that. They don't know to target you. They're just going to go after. They're just going to fire at the stationary Selcress. I believe you are restrained, so they would have. Actually, they don't get advantage or anything from restrained. They're just going to attack you.
Am I restrained?
You can't move. You're incapacitated. You're something because you can't move.
Right. I'm
Yeah,
in the
you're in a tomb of ice, and they're just going to fire a whole bunch of short bow shots at your tomb.
The first one doesn't hit. The second one hits.
14.
Doesn't hit.
9, and that's all of them. Oh wow, those are some abysmal rolls. And you just take
Abysmal? You mean abyssal?
Oh my god. please.
some goblinoid rolls. That's going to be 9 points of damage to your
Kurogan
crystal
will
goblin,
be in the destructive wave.
not very bad. That's going to bring us to Dad. I'm sorry, Kurogan.
Yeah, it's Kurogan first, and you know that guy that's in front of me that I wanted to kill before but missed?
Yep.
So here's what I'm gonna do. Because I have this feature, I'm actually going to cast a firebolt at the one that's further away.
Okay.
Probably misses.
Yeah, unfortunately that misses.
But that also allows me to take a melee. Oh, I do have a bless.
Use the bless. That might actually get you there. That is going to get you there. You kill that one.
But then I also have this feature that I've never used that allows me to also make a melee attack after I do that.
And that's why they used to call him the Spell Knight.
Yeah. So
go ahead and attack.
So the guy that's right next to me is gonna get
Also
sliced
killed.
in half.
4 goblins remain. And these ones now. Well, I assume you're rising up because some of these ones are on the ceiling, so you firebolt.
Yeah,
and
I'm rising up a little bit.
So you rise up to meet them. You're kind of floating in the air. Like I said, 4 left. Dad, what you gonna do?
Get away from my daughter! And he is going to rush to the imaginary and attack it.
All right.
Because it was last seen near Selcress.
Yep.
All right. Yep. He's gonna run right at it.
Disadvantage, but
is that neutralized with the fairy fire, or just possible because of the fairy fire?
oh, the fairy fire dropped because of concentration.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He's gonna swing at the air.
14 is still gonna hit. All of those hits. Nice.
Oh, dang.
I don't even need it. For a grand total of 39 points of damage. All right, yeah, you deal a pretty good chunk to the imaginary. Anything else? That's all for Dad, right?
That's all for
That's
Dad.
the best.
Daddy Selcress. That's gonna bring us next to who's after Dad? Selcress.
Yeah, me. Shush you. Sorry, I read something. Anyway, Selcress is gonna. Is Dad immune to fire? Would I know that?
Oh, you're aware that he's resistant to fire.
I see. What about cold?
Same deal.
Okay. I guess an AoE wouldn't be the best to do.
I
Poor
mean, you've
Dad.
AoE Dad before.
That's true. Levi's gonna run over first and try and claw at the thing.
All right. Have him make a bunch of attacks with disadvantage. Those are all going to hit. Oh wait, no, sorry, the 10 misses naturally.
The 10 miss, but
Yeah.
those 2 will hit.
Yeah.
Cool. I have to see most of the creatures to do most of my spells to them. Curses.
All right. Is that all for you then?
No, I have an action. I am gonna. I'm trying. I guess. Frostbite do a thing? Frostbite just slows down people, huh?
Frostbite gives things disadvantage on attacks.
Alright, I'll try Frostbite then. Ow.
It's going to make a Constitution saving throw. Oh, every time. Boop. It succeeds. Yeah.
Alright, that's it.
All right. That brings us around to the top of the initiative, which is going to be the imaginary. The imaginary looks around. You can kind of hear its footsteps on the ground again as it moves around in the space, and it's going to. I think it's going to go after you, Kurogan, as it's going to make an attack against you with advantage.
Blep. Too bad it misses.
Yeah, unfortunately that ain't going to do it. I do need you to also, as it runs past you, I do need you to make me a strength save. 19 also succeeds. That's all for this creature's turn.
It's just awful.
Yeah, it's just having a rough time of it.
I did feel it wind near my face though, so that gives me an idea of where it is.
Yeah, it continues to move after, so you're not sure. That's gonna bring us next to,
Lance.
Yep, Lance, take it away. Top initiative.
Bingo. Maintaining my supportive role. How rough is Kurogan looking? Still more angry than hurt?
Yeah.
Way
don't
more
think
angry than hurt.
Yeah, I don't think he's bad. Not a lot of hits.
Yeah, I'm still like 90% of my health.
I guess I'll scoot around. No, I wouldn't know he ran over towards Kurogan. I stay where I am and I death ward myself.
There it is.
Smart play.
All right, Doppel.
All right, Doppel is running out of stuff that he can really do. Doppel will begin to. How far away from the Geomancer is he?
From the Geomancer, he is actually pretty close. He's only about like 10 or 15 feet away from the Geomancer.
Okay. And Doppel can read thoughts. Can he attempt to read the thoughts of this imaginary thing?
Actually, no. Right now, what spell? What is it? Like an ability or a spell?
It is an ability.
Then yeah, he attempts to read the thoughts.
Doppel dies.
Doppel reads the thoughts of this Geomancer. This Geomancer is.
Oh, I'm sorry, not the Geomancer. The imaginary.
Oh.
Doppel's trying to figure out if he can pinpoint where it is by reading its thoughts.
Okay.
Kind of like getting out of vision stuff.
Oh dear. Can Doppel make me an intelligence saving throw?
Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
Doppel's head explodes.
Doppel, you know where it is. As a matter of fact, you can see it really clearly as this thing kind of turns over and just looks at you, and Doppel can see for the first time of anyone what appears to be. It looks almost elephantine in its nature. It's huge. It has this long kind of big giant head and these huge kind of tusk-like protrusions that lead from its house, but it's much kind of like longer and a lot more bestial in kind of its face. And it's just kind of like rampaging around the room, kind of crashing. It seems to be like flickering in and out of reality in a lot of places. And the reason Doppel can see it is because Doppel seems to also now be in the same space as this creature. You see Doppel just kind of disappear. But if you want to go after him, you can.
Doppel?
Yeah, but Doppel disappears.
What the hell? Where did he go?
Doppel?
Dead.
But Doppel? We'll attack?
Doppel? Oh,
Yeah, you
wait,
can attack if you
I'm
want.
there. I got teleported to it. Wait, what happened? I thought I was
you
gone.
seem to have been pulled into some other plane that this thing exists on.
Doppel's thinking. Can Doppel hear anyone else?
Doppel can hear the creature, which is making this kind of sound.
Is
Hear
there
where it
anything
is.
around Doppel?
You can see almost like shadows moving in the space that seem to be like memories of where your friends are.
But there's no like anything, any physical stuff.
Yeah, there's like boxes and stuff. There's like the physical objects that were in the. All right, you get behind the boxes. You know you're in like the same spot as Selcress was. That's gonna bring us next to Euchaunkus.
Remembering, don't die.
All right, I stand there. I'm like, wait a minute. I wanted to. What happened?
Wisdom save.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
All right.
That was weird before.
What the hell was you stupid Geo? Die.
Now
Destructive
Malcolm
wave.
is dead.
Every single math goblin is dead. Are you maxing it?
Sure. 45 damage.
Plus the 15,
Yep.
so 60 total
Oh no,
damage.
45 total.
It's actually gonna six.
The 19 goes up to 30.
Okay. That carry's actually going to succeed on that, but
6.5 damage.
it takes half damage for a grand total of, getting very tired, of 22 points of damage. And the Geomancer, as the destructive wave moves throughout the room, it gets to the Geomancer and it seems to just stop at that greater than 5 barrier.
Okay, that's what I expected. I'll cast Sanctuary on myself.
The Geomancer looks at you and is just like, you see him like getting ready to like throw a spell your way, and then he can't, and so he says curses.
I calmly walk up to him.
and he kind of like glares at you from behind his barrier while you're behind yours. And it moves on to his turn, and he's gonna make a wisdom saving throw against your ability. Which he fails. So instead, he's going to use a... Oh, you know what? He's gonna stop messing around. It's time for him to break out the big guns. He's gonna send a square missile at 7th level at you, Kurogan.
Except shield.
Oh no! The classic! Yeah, that was actually all of those magic missiles were supposed to be squared. So they did not happen. But you shield it. They all just deflect harmlessly off of your shield. And as you kind of go to do that shield, well, it's too late, I forgot. That's all for his turn. That's going to bring us next in initiative to the math goblins who are all dead, which is going to bring us to Kurogan. What do you want to do? Next shield.
Hey, it's me. So, can I kind of think about where the footsteps ended last I heard them? And see... At least like a general location.
You can make an attack with disadvantage against it.
Okay.
You're kind of tracking it roughly.
But this is going to be a shatter.
There are times where it feels like, all right, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. I'm fantastic at these, by the way.
You wanna target the Geomancer with that, not him. There's no one there to even target, so why would you even? There's like just nothing there, so why would you use a shatter there?
Well, I mean, if there's nothing there, I wouldn't use a shatter on a single person. So instead, scorching ray on them.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. So you fire a bunch of scorching rays. You're firing scorching rays. All right.
Yeah, they count as 4th level.
They fly out towards the Geomancer, and as they do so, you see they all fizzle against his greater than 5 barrier. Yeah, they don't seem to get him. You still have a bonus action though,
which I am going to use to transition to the dragon's hide.
All right, you get into a more defensive posture.
So I increase in size.
Yep.
I have advantage on saving throws against breath weapons. Not that that matters, but I have it. And also, I gain resistance to, I don't know, lightning.
All right. You gain lightning resistance. That's going to bring us to Dad. What's Dad gonna do?
Dad is gonna go, wow! And he's gonna be like, he's gonna look at Selcress and be like, I'll help you hit it! Or whatever, I'm not gonna voice your dad anymore. He's gonna catch Fairy Fire.
Oh, nice! Dexterity saving throw. Does not have advantage, so it's a 14.
14 will succeed on his DC 11.
Oh, no!
I'm sorry, I'm not good at magic.
You should be sorry. What do you think is gonna happen to Doppel now?
As we move on to
the ground, sadly.
As we move on to Selcress' turn, you're in a cube, ice cube.
Yeah, I'm in an ice cube. I can't really shout at Dad, even though I want to shout at Dad.
He can sense it.
Yeah. Did I see like where the imaginary kind of blast was, like through dust or footsteps? Or...
You have a general idea that if you want to target it with an AoE, you can, or if you want to make an attack roll, it will be at disadvantage.
Okay. Is there anything in like a 20-foot-ish radius?
Yeah, it is. Oh, near it? No, it's on the opposite side of the room from the Geomancer, and those are the only 2 things still up.
Yeah, no friends are in there?
No, I think...
No, it ran away from me, so...
Okay, no friends. Everything's fine. It's gonna get a fireball.
Alright, I need you to make me a wisdom saving throw.
Alright.
That is just enough.
Plus you have blessed, I think. So...
it's going to make a wisdom saving throw. Doppel, can you make me a... Doppel, can you also make me a dex save?
Oh no.
Is Doppel even in that region?
He's somewhere.
I thought he was in the box next to me.
He's near you, and this thing's right in front of you.
Is it?
Yeah, you mean
God,
you're
I
throwing
can't-
it so that it doesn't like hit you, but
Well,
that's about as
Levi
that's about as tight as
and
you
Dad
can
are
get.
around me, and I don't want to hit them. I wouldn't have done that.
I just think you don't have any cognizance of where Doppel is because he's in the other realm. I think the die is on the table at this point on this one.
Okay.
The creature is going to succeed on it, so he's going to take half damage from it. Doppel is going to take the full brunt wherever Doppel is. As Doppel, just a huge explosion of flames here in this
they hear
other
Doppel
terrifying
scream?
room. Yeah, they kind of hear and like that same kind of like auto-tune echoey sound comes from over around where the fire exploded. That's going to bring us next initiative to this giant thing. Yep, this giant thing is going to make a wisdom saving throw. Actually, Euchaunkus, what's your DC?
Is he by me?
No, he's gonna run at you.
Oh,
What's your DC?
it is 17.
Oh wow, it actually succeeds on your sanctuary. He's gonna make an attack against you with advantage. It's a 27.
Wait, am I near Euchaunkus?
Yeah.
Then I would have imposed disadvantage on that. Wait, I can't because I can't see him.
You can't see the source, unfortunately. Yeah, Euchaunkus, that's a chunky hit you take from this thing.
Ow.
I need you to make me a strength saving throw.
Sure.
You succeed. Oh my god, these strength saves, right? It's all that time at Kurogains that's really
Yeah, I mean, really.
Gotta beef
same
up,
guys.
man.
You
This
feel
will off
this thing just moves kind of through you, and as it does, you just feel like your body being like ripped apart, and you can feel like almost from the inside, it feels like it was attacking your organs more than it was attacking you. It is a terrible sensation. That is going to bring us to Lance.
So I can assume that all the square weapons have evaporated with their goblins, of course.
Oh yeah, the goblins all vanish into numbers.
Okay. I'm gathering that greater than 5 means spells of 5 or lower don't affect this boy. So Lance is going to spend this round with an experimentation of reaching back into, his utility adventurer satchel where items go to die and pull out that light crossbow, which is going to take me a second to locate on my sheet because light crossbow. And I'm gonna see if I can't, get that item from my starter kit to go through this since it's not magic. That might be going the wrong way about it, but you know what? Here's an easy way to do it. Let's go. Light crossbow at the Geomancer.
All right. Best of luck.
Oh,
Hey! That's definitely gonna hit.
oh my. And then I bonus action Sanctuary myself and kind of just... Well, Kurogan, seems like this is your territory. Magic's not gonna deal anything to him, but if this crossbow that I've had in my satchel for perhaps eternity, perhaps just a few years, can do that, go wild.
His barrier goes down.
That's wonderful.
Oh, good.
Big smile on Kurogan's face.
We all have a target now.
Doppel.
Alright, Doppel is severely wounded. And he sees no way out of here.
Not sure.
Alright, Doppel is going to attempt to reach out to Selcress with his... Oh wait, he can only read thoughts.
You can
Alright,
talk.
and that-
You can see kind of where Selcress' tiny shadow is in the ice on the ground.
Yeah, he
Move over
is
to it.
going to... is he considered hidden from the imaginary, does he think?
Stealth
Oh, it
check?
doesn't matter.
You couldn't
It
see
doesn't
it
matter.
like regularly, yeah.
I was realizing that effect that I was thinking of. Anyway, yeah, he's just going to continue to hide, but change to a different spot, preferably with less people near it.
All right. You're gonna go over into the far corner and hide. We're around where Dad used to be.
Oh no, Dad!
The imaginary doesn't seem to be paying a ton of attention to you, but
That's wonderful.
yeah. That's
You're
all.
not allowed to die.
Working on it.
It's against the law.
That all for Doppel, Euchaunkus.
Well, I just sort of Euchaunkus' lips sort of curve up as the barrier disappears.
I'm
No.
picturing the smile from the Grinch. Sorry, go ahead.
We can get to business, and I will. Destructive wave again. Sure.
Okay. He's gonna go.
Wisdom save, probably.
He has advantage on
Oh yeah, do I need to
saving.
make a wisdom save?
Yeah, you do. Actually, thank you for reminding me. You're good. He has advantage on this because he has magic. Oh, he succeeds.
All right. Well, the imaginary gets hit, but
Yep. He
The
succeeds.
imaginary knocked prone if he fails.
if they fail, they are.
Yeah,
not
they both succeed.
All right. Okay. That's 27, so 13 damage.
All right, they both take 13 points of damage. The Geomancer doesn't seem to like it. And Doppel, you're the only one can see that the imaginary's starting to look pretty beat up. And Geomancer, it's his turn. He is going to kind of move back over that hole in the ceiling. He kind of moves kind of underneath it, the hole that is.
I am next to him.
The hole that's below you. All right, he's going to provoke an opportunity attack.
I'm gonna pass, I think.
Fair enough. He takes a step backwards, and you see him just kind of look around. He looks to the left. He looks to the right. You see him just kind of like all of a sudden turn and reorientate so that he's now facing what is correct for the way things should be, but is upside down to you. And then he just falls downwards, like he just lets go of whatever spell was keeping him levitating slightly off the ground, and he just plummets upwards.
So he's
As he,
only 30 feet tall?
Hmm?
Isn't the room only 30 feet?
no, remember when I described originally there was a hole in the ceiling that was basically a hole in the floor that they dug up through, and there's like all the ruins above?
Yeah, when I asked you, it was 30 feet.
Yeah, but there's a hole.
No, but that's like the to the ceiling, but then there's a hole into a much larger cavern.
Ah. How big is the hole?
The hole itself is maybe like radius 20 feet. It's not like a perfect like circle on the ceiling. It's like kind of like they broke into this place. And he's he just falls and seems to be running away. Kurogan.
Oh, he thinks he can get away.
Well, I can't let that happen, so I'm going after him. I'll fly the 30 feet up. Can I see him? Because I was already up in the air, so.
Yeah, he is kind of far below you now, but you can see him.
In that case, I will.
Because he's just like falling. He's not flying.
He's just falling. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm flying 30 feet towards him. How far do you fall in 6 seconds?
Do you know the official rules on falling, Jeremy?
500 feet.
Yeah.
500 feet. Jesus Christ. So he's far away.
Yeah, you can see him though.
Well, how high is the cavern?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. The cavern, I mean, it might actually be that big. This is like a huge, like, it looks like an ancient city that is within here, and you can see a lot of, like, square images. So I think he's still falling downwards.
Well,
can
can I
fall.
should I go after him?
Oh, wait, no, you can't fall. Your gravity's upside down.
That's right. Yeah, I can do that.
so many
Should I go
confusing
after
physics.
him?
Get in!
All right, then I'm gonna dash.
All right,
Fly
you're
at
just,
him.
you're just catching up as quickly as you possibly can as you just move into the space. He's kind of catching himself at the bottom of this plummet that he's kind of going through. Next, and I don't think he got a full 500 feet because there's like bridges and stuff that cross that he probably would have had to have like dodged a little bit out of the way with some minor levitation and stuff. So we'll say you're about like 100 or like you're about 150 feet away from him at the end of this, about half of what the full would have been. And that's going to bring us to Dad.
Dad will do the only thing he can do. He will rush at. Does he see the imaginary anywhere?
You can always make an attack against it with disadvantage. It makes enough sound in the room,
Okay.
following the kind of like echoing roar. They
Let's...
all hit except the last one.
Oh, but what about the blessed?
Blast.
We'll roll it up.
Perfect.
Nope. But 14 points of damage. How does Dad fuck up the imaginary as you finish this thing off?
He probably runs forward, begins to slash and claw at it, and says something dramatic at the end, like, "Stay out of my daughter's house."
And as you
Which
say
is
that,
dramatic for a Dragoloth.
as you say that, like the claw kind of like drags along the side of where he thinks the creature is, and as it does so, you see all of a sudden like just some blood kind of splatters into the air, and you see for the first time, and for the a lot of the time, Doppel reappears, and this huge, giant, elephant-looking monster just crashes onto the ground and slides across the floor and into the far wall, with kind of this terrible, deafening, what was before like the distant, echoey, now this, as it kind of has some like death throes on the ground and is slain. I don't think anyone can catch up with Kurogan, and I don't.
Unfortunately, that's where you're wrong.
Oh, that's where you're wrong.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Does anyone have a move that's going to
Oh yeah.
get them in that area?
Selcress uses her frozen crown to regain a spell slot. And
Very well.
casts fly
Um,
on Euchaunkus, Lance, and Levi.
very good.
And then, as a bonus action, Levi's going to dash up and out.
Levi's going to dash up and out. All right, so you begin moving kind of upwards and out the ceiling of the space. That brings us around to the top of the initiative, I believe, which would have been the imaginary, but it is now you, Lance.
I will dash after flying forward, knowing what Selcress has cooking.
All right. Doppel's on the ground, I assume.
Yeah, Doppel's in the ground.
Euchaunkus.
No, actually, wait, Doppel's conscious. What am I talking about?
I
Yeah,
will-
Doppel's not going anywhere.
I mean, I'm flying after him.
All right, you just chasing?
Yep.
All right, that's going to bring
I
it.
thought Lance had Dimension Door.
I did, but I wasted it in that first fight.
Yeah, since you weren't able to get up to him. At this point, the Geomancer is just going to kind of like... Actually, let me make sure this has the right casting time. Okay, yeah. The Geomancer is just going to kind of like look at the place, and he's still kind of like falling backwards, watching you guys dodging between the ruins that he's falling upwards into from your perspective. Occasionally ducking and weaving, and then you see as he's just kind of falling backwards, you see him throw a hand behind him, and you see a larger version of those small kind of like square and triangle openings you saw before. You see a big triangular opening appear, and he falls backwards into it and is out of the area.
Guessing it closes behind him.
Yeah, instantly, as he casts a spell that
Damn that bastard.
you probably know.
Possibly.
Dimension door, probably. Or teleport.
Teleport.
Good for him. I
Yeah, he's
hope he
gone.
gets spliced.
We will see. Well, your dad's free. And you see very slowly now that your dad's been freed of his bonds, and that kind of like energy no longer seems to be siphoned off of him. As you're kind of like collecting yourselves, you're feeling the feet of your Castle Selcress kind of solidifying and reforming into the solid crystalline ice structure that is your home, and the place where you belong and feel comfortable. Your Castle Selcress. Is Castle Selcress the official name of Castle Selcress?
I'm not sure, but it sounds like a good idea, so sure.
Regardless, in this moment, you've all achieved victory.
I'm home. Woo!
I'm gonna fly back up, retract the hide, and just go full into the wing so I can get up faster.
Doppel, we must replenish the snack stores. Also, are you okay?
I'll be fine. I'll go get milk and cookies.
I beacon of hope everyone and do a mass cure wounds on everyone for all it's worth.
Euchaunkus, you still seem bloodthirsty. Would you help me kill the math goblins in the pantry?
Yes.
I also want to see some more action, please. Also, can somebody work on turning this thing upside down or right side up on dimensions?
Dad, do you know if you can put the castle right side up again?
I don't think so. It is the whole area. Dad has a really hard time speaking common.
Yeah, I'll speak Elvish for him if that helps.
Oh yeah, he can speak Elven a lot better. Yeah, Dad will convey to you. It seems to be an effect in the entire area, probably due to the proximity to Sokotoa.
I gotcha.
The underground city. Sorry, go ahead.
Guess we'll have to live with an upside down castle for a little bit.
The slides are pretty good.
Yeah, the slides are awesome.
Another ice, which is going to be great.
Luge.
But yeah, luge. With that, you have succeeded in taking back what is temporarily we will refer to as Castle Selcress. You have another foothold here in the land of DnDTime. Before too long, you're able to, while you kind of spend some time here, you'll be able to get the teleportation circle back online, clean things up, get accustomed perhaps to maybe not the ideal form of your keep, as in just like how Kurogains is surrounded by morts, you're in a better spot, but you are upside down, which is not the best.
Well, the
But
slides are pretty good. Snacks, Doppel. Where's the snacks?
and with Snacks Doppel, I think that is a great place to end our adventure tonight.
None of you died.
Yeah, no one died.
I barely got hurt.
Yeah.
I took 0 damage.
Great work, everyone. Man, I was trying to prepare myself for like a couple of lucky crits. That could have been very bad.
Yeah, that could have been
Yeah.
real bad.
My shield just
You
it's
guys
too powerful,
wrecked
and my
them, though.
shorts.
Well done.
Yeah, you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
you guys destroyed that encounter. The
Selcress almost died, though. I'll say that. If I hadn't, tombed at that point,
Could have been bad.
could have been bad.
the cubematic orb that you took, Kurogan, that had a cap out at 216 damage.
I see.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
it was
Terrifying.
cube,
I wanted it.
the first cubed attack.
Oh man,
I wanted it so bad.
The cubematic orb was scary.
But thank you all for Jeremy. We're on the outro screen.
No, we're not on the other screen because we have to do one last thing to finish up this adventure. You gain no experience and no Bartholomew bucks.
Ah,
Well,
yes,
we
of
knew
course.
that, but we gained a home.
Thank you guys for
This is
playing.
true.